about the strike. What they will do now, I leave it to President Trump. He makes his own decisions. I will not speak for him. He speaks very persuasively and very firmly and said Iran should not have nuclear weapons. They should not have enrichment capabilities. That comes from a CNN article and demonstrates, I think, that the perceived bad relations between Trump and Netanyahu was actually all nonsense. So, I don't know. I mean, I still think there was some disagreement here and there, but it's speculation. So, anyway, that's the latest bit of information on the political front. Boys, go for it.
Hey Peter, so I just got an alert to my phone from the Home Front Command Center, and they are basically asking people in certain areas. So me living close to the northern border, they asked us to be next to a bombing shelter because there is the suspicion that there will be some sort of an attack during Khamenei's speech. So right now, yeah, this is the situation on the ground. So in case there will be anything, I will try to open my mic. But if not, then you would know that I'm running.
Just to confirm, you're saying you did get indications that an attack is originating from Iran against Israel. That was the alert that was sent. Just to confirm.
Yes, they are sending it individually according to the area that you live. So they trace your phone, they know in which area you live, and then you're getting this warnings, and the alert said that it's because of the fear of an imminent attack.
Yeah, because we have images, and actually we had a speaker yesterday, so I don't know if we can get him back on to the Mario team. Stephen Abiu. He said he tweeted a video, and you're seeing moments ago, we've seen over Iraqi cities in the western part headed towards Jordan, and then obviously Israel, and just looks some contrails, could be cruise missiles, could be ballistic missiles. So that could be associated voice to what you were alluding to. But from the videos, it doesn't look like a large quantity. But we don't know how.
I just want to stick on this, Steph, for a second. Voice, so you're there. So if I can ask, how do you feel being on the ground? Do you feel that the Iron Dome is well equipped to deal with any potential? I mean, it did remarkably well the first time round, but I feel like the Iranians are going to upscale it even more this time. So, personally for you, how do you feel being in the situation? If that makes sense.
Well, somehow at the same time. So I'm not by jets in the air and stuff like that. And the Iron Dome is less what makes me feel secure. It's more like the Arrow 2, the Arrow 3, and also the new laser system of ELTA.
Don't forget David Sling.
I think we lost voice. Am I the only one who can't hear
Hear me?
Yeah, I think
there you are, boys. There you are. Now we can hear you.
Sorry, guys. I hope you can hear me now well, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm saying that these systems, because they intercept the missiles way outside the atmosphere and also mostly far away from the Israeli airspace, I feel more secure knowing that these are deployed in the exact place. I think the Iranian mindset, or the IRGC mindset, is to launch an attack because they believe maybe that most of our Air Force pilots are too busy with Gaza or also with what's happening in Iran right now, and maybe it will be a good time to launch some sort of an attack. But they probably learned some lessons from what happened last time when they tried to launch cruise missiles, drones, and ballistic missiles all at the same time, so some arrived earlier, some arrived a little bit later, and they thought this is how they're going to challenge the air defense system. So that's not the case. That's not how they can challenge it. I feel safe, Piotr, living in Israel in time like this, but I'm also very about how, because war with Iran is not like a war with Gaza. This is something completely different, and the longer it will take, the dangerous it will become for all sides, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. I think it's just very interesting to share with listeners. Obviously, you're covering this professionally, but you are on the ground. Your personal security is another element. So appreciate that. But Hazem, did you want to jump in and then we'll go to you, Jeff?
Yeah, real quick on retaliation. The key point when it comes to retaliation, it needs to be proportional. And Iran has nothing remotely proportional to what has been done over the past few hours and continues to be done. There's another aspect that, for one, Iran tried to retaliate already with 200 drones, all were shut down. Obviously, the response from Iranian arms and proxies, such as the Houthis, well, for Hezbollah, it was a very bashful two-drones attempt, and Hezbollah would not want the Lebanese army to get involved at this point. And they will get involved if Hezbollah tries to do more than what they've done already. For the Houthis, they're looking at the situation, they're saying, well, we don't have any capabilities, and we really do not feel like we should be dragged into this conflict with a very active campaign that can be very easily expanded into Yemen. Also, for the Iranian regime, as you mentioned, very correctly, they have a limited amount of missiles to use to reach Israel. And the failure, now we're having this conversation, there's the illusion of the capability to respond by the Iranians. If they start sending ballistic missiles and these missiles get shut down in totality, then even that illusion of capability will be gone, and they'll be left with absolutely nothing. So it's not an easy decision for the Iranians to take this risk of launching a failed retaliation.
Specific on that, right? I think it's the Iranians lost a major.
Can I just just quickly, sorry, if I may, I think this was shared on Khomeini's Telegram channel. I'm just going to read it out just from the address and then pass it to Voda. Nothing burger. The supreme leader of the revolution in a televised message to the Iranian nation said, quote, the armed forces will make the scoundrel Zionist regime miserable. Ayatollah Khamenei addressed the great Iranian nation in a televised message tonight. The armed forces will act with force and impoverish the scoundrel Zionist regime. The Zionist regime will not escape this crime unscathed. The Iranian people can be assured
Hey, Nick, you want to hear a Cindy Stumble impersonation? This fucking war is breaking my balls, and then my workers are showing up. I got 10 construction sites in no Mexicans.
The Iranians lost one of them.
Nelson, I want my money back from investing in this piece of shit app.
You can argue which was the plausible deniability thing by striking Iran or attempting to.
Grant. The Israelis have made an unprovoked attack on Israel, on Iran, and it's not our responsibility to come to their aid.
You can argue they're doing well in line of contact, but the Ukrainians keep, entering their own airspace. When someone was saying, the Russians will send their air force down to help the Iranians out, really? So
Shut the fuck up! When I am fucking speaking, you will go on fucking mute until I finish my fucking point. Is it that fucking hard to understand? Have a little modicum of decency?
Nobody's willing to die in Iran's hill today. They are alone and they are afraid. For sure.
Boys, Jeff, you guys got your hands up.
Man, you're just a racist
No,
dude
Jeff,
down.
was before me.
And I'm
will explain
sweet
something
southern
about the
belle.
Iranian
Shut the fuck up!
Jeff could go ahead.
Okay, I was trying to be ladies first, but go for it, Jeff.
You're such a gentleman. What I wanted to point out was I think earlier you said it was interesting what they picked for targets, and I would tell you that if you're going
Streaming here on Clubhouse.
I know, isn't it crazy? You invested in an app to restream your conference call on the original conference call app. It's crazy.
It makes no sense.
Well, it's a scam. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, I think they use it to vet investors and then to see how much of a sucker they are.
Yeah, soliciting investors. That's all they're doing.
And it's basically an investment scam. It's not an actual business. It's the same thing with Fanbase. Have you ever used that racist piece of shit app?
Hey, bro. How do I do that shit too? I don't know. Try setting up an app.
How do I do that?
That's how you do it. That's how you get started.
Yep. What the thing is like, so now that Clown House charges, well, they don't charge, but I think this is going to be a pay app eventually. Even if it's just $5 a year, $10 a year, I think they're eventually going to make you pay something. I think that's what they're going to do with Chatter.
Chatterbait.
Caught by surprise that in order to launch these missiles, they'll need fuel, a special fuel for these missiles. And earlier today,
They come from China. The special fuel come from China.
Also in Tabriz, the fuel, the rocket fuel depots that were there as well. So it might be the reason, one of the reasons at least why we see this delay. Now, let's sort it out.
They would be like, no, I really want to hear what Tiffany has to say. God. That was a perfect troll name because nobody knew, and they're just like, oh no, this Tiffany person's pretty interesting.
Was I doing a girl's voice or did? Yeah.
You were from like the South. I think you were from like South Carolina or Georgia or somewhere. Alabama.
I hate this app.
It's just hilarious how serious people take it.
I know, it's really pathetic. It shows you that even if you're a successful person and you take yourself so seriously on this app, like you have failed to comprehend one of the like preeminent points of life. Is like this is all temporary, and you're willing to die on a hill. And really, it's a question of like flexibility. People are inflexible. They're so rigid in their ego, and they demand that their projection, be listened to, and that it's 100% correct. It's nobody is tentative, and everybody is just definitive or extremely rigid. There's no give in these people's houses, which is their brain and their identity. And they don't see the comedy in any of this. Which is, if you don't see the comedy, then you don't have an understanding of like one of the main tenets of philosophy is that God is laughing and smiling. So.
Well, that's the thing. I think people just they don't know how to laugh, and they're taking this app to like the extreme level. Everything they take what everyone says with a grain of salt. Like, but
if your behavior on here is very childish, demeaning, pathetic, egotistical, vainglorious, etc., like that's how you are in the real world. Like there's no doubt about it. Like there's no online persona. That's you. Everything you say here, how you respond, how you act, that's you. So if you're a petty little obnoxious bitch, that's you in the real world. That's life. You are your words.
Yep. So what's going on in Chicago? I saw that there's like parades for this bullshit ice shit.
Yeah.
And they're blocking like, what was it, Michigan Avenue? I can't remember, but they blocked part of like one of their areas right by the water where like you can't get past the road.
Yeah, I don't know, but they say Saturday could be like a very dangerous day. So I don't know. Stay home with your guns and your butter.
Yeah. Well, look at the People's Republic of Los Angeles. What's going on there? Why the fuck did you say like your sister lives in Cali?
Yeah. Oh no,
Why the fuck is
she lives in Seattle, actually, another liberal shithole. Every major city is a liberal shithole.
But that's just it. Edmund, I was in Minneapolis with my friend. We went to South Dakota, whatever. The layover was in Minneapolis for a day, and we're like, let's go take a walk down there. So we went down to the Mall of America, whatever, and took the subway downtown. Like, the downtown wasn't bad because like there was a basketball game going on, so it wasn't too bad. But like the Mall of America is filled with Somali Muslims.
I know.
They've taken over.
I've been there. I've seen it. I've seen how happy these young Somalis are. They're just like kids in a candy shop, and they're where they don't belong. They shouldn't be here. I mean,
Yep.
This is the problem with America.
that's who gave us Ilhan Omar. And like here in Michigan, Dearborn, they voted Rashid Tlaib because it's like an 80% Muslim population there.
Yep. It's crazy. You'd think that these Muslim men or women would like wise up and at least get rid of that dumb bitch. I mean, you know, a lot of these Muslims, they sided with Trump over the trans pederasty.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of the Muslims in Detroit sided with Trump. They met with him. They like shook his hand.
But the thing is what shocks me is Trump's pro-Israel.
I know, but they would rather choose that over trans pederasty because they're conservative. So yeah, they looked at Kamala and Waltz and they're like, nope, fuck that shit. They would rather have their fucking they would rather have the war and conservatives in charge than have these you know, clown people in charge. So
Interesting.
yeah, I thought that was a surprising twist. I was like, how could they side with? Because I think they know what the game is that these Democrats are just ruthless war hawks as well, and maybe even worse. They are worse, not maybe worse. They're 100 times worse.
Well, you got someone worse than Lori Lighthead in Chicago. I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that it can get worse, but yeah, he's an example of a woke leftist African American male. I mean, he sits there and he talks about how, you know, this is the way things would have been if the Confederacy won. Like, he says the most insanely stupid shit. There is no way he wins again. Like, his approval rating is that low. So like, he's going to be a one-term mayor.
You know what's going to be interesting when they start telling Chicago pension people
Recipients,
that
yeah.
get a Chicago pension that you're like, yeah, you're not getting 100 cents on the dollar. You're getting like 50 cents.
Mhm.
And even that's pushing it 50 cents of the dollar. But when they finally admit that they're fucking bankrupt, and you take away like people's retirement,
Who knows if or when that'll happen, because they could just keep borrowing. You know, just in the same way that the federal government does. These city-states they do have the ability and the direct relationships, and the banks are like, you want us to lend you more money at this rate? Okay, you got a deal. Like, this is how banks make money. I mean, and the banks are agnostic too. They don't care if they're even going to get paid back, because they want the transaction fee. You know?
they're fractional reserves. They keep 10% and they loan back out 90% of it. I mean, it's the fractional banking system is, oh man.
I mean, you know who is fucked? Iran. They're fucked. Palestinians in Gaza Strip, they're fucked. I mean, did you see Yemen launched a rocket and it fucking hit the West Bank? Like, they're hitting their own people.
Yeah. Like they don't understand that people don't support Muslim nations. Like, everyone's gonna turn against Muslim nations for Iran. Like, trust me, this is not gonna end well.
Somebody's calling us incels in the chat. Okay, let me go back to this
Iranian
extreme.
police, all sorts of vehicles, armed vehicles, stuff that are mostly being used by police officers of the regime. Once you're going to see those being under attack, this is when you know, okay, the target is indeed to at least spark a regime change. And right now, this is not what we're seeing. We don't see any of these targets being attacked, at least not for now. So I think that would be the best indicators for you guys and for anybody who is listening and trying to understand what is going on. As long as these targets are untouched, this is obviously not the objective of those who are committing the attacks.
Yeah, I think it's sort of right, boys, you know, indirectly incentivizing the Iranian people to do it of their own accord, right? The thing that Iran does have, which a lot of countries don't, when you're talking about the day after, is, well, take Gaza for example, right? We don't have a clear idea of who will govern the Strip or Palestine as we do in Iran. You've got the Crown Prince, and we've got a clear sort of diaspora of people who could contribute towards creating a post-Islamic Republic kind of government and leadership and lead to elections and whatever. And that's clear, but sort of how do you get from now to that is sort of the key question. And obviously Israel doesn't want to be the one to sort of take out the leaders and such, because that's a whole different element to getting the people on the ground to sort of do it for themselves, sort of thing. So I think that's a really crucial point. You're talking about the political direction of things, and
Well, you know, for 45 years, and we did it in 3 weeks. You were there, you watched, right? We had the greatest military in the world. Nobody can do this as long as we have our right leadership.
It's been long coming. I've heard people
President Trump made an order to deploy 2,000.
kind of attack since 2018, and it's been back and forth between Israel and Iran. When I received
Do
information,
you mind if I be really rude and just interrupt you with some important news? It may influence what you say next. Thank you, mate. Basically, President Putin, considering I was making comments about Russia just now, has spoken to both, interestingly, President Masoud of Iran and Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, obviously, Russia has a, should we say, complicated relationship with the Israelis. It's not great, but it's not sort of dead. They've obviously had to navigate each other in the, say, Syrian airspace over the years. So I'm very curious to see what he would have said, and then also how Russia's thinking about it. Another piece of news is reports indicate Israel has identified preparations in Iran to launch about 100 ballistic missiles. So our sort of guesses of, bigger non-drone type things, i.e. ballistics, do seem to be on point. Going to be interesting to see, if that follows through. We're waiting to verify that from more sources, but that's sort of some speculative information for you. But gee, thanks for being.
It will take them 12 minutes to get here. 12 minutes.
I've had people from my own sources in the Saudi military who told me that from insider sources that didn't want to identify themselves, that there was some assistance from the Saudi airspace to, that was information that was passed to me by someone that was in the Saudi Air Force, and it basically gives us a good idea that the Gulf countries, at least, they're all on board with this attack, and they all had some sort of idea of this attack happening beforehand, as well as the United States.
Yeah, that's not accurate. 1 second, Wajid, just one thing. They were involved, but they were involved in the interceptions, not in the attacks in Iran, as far as I know. Just wanted to add that.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned in the Saudi airspace itself. So they were involved, but they didn't do direct attack on Iran soil. That's correct. What I was trying to say is basically this is a sign that Gulf countries are celebrating. They've been struggling with the attacks from the Houthis for a minute. That is a direct link from Iran. And they've been struggling also with Lebanon for a while, because Lebanon is also a state that Saudi Arabia has been trying to put its own influence on for a long time. So from what I've seen, only members of the Brotherhood and religious political movements have been the one that have been calling for action against Israel. So there is some sort of divide. I think Russia is too busy. Russia is too busy, and is only going to act like a mediator. In fact, I think Russia has a lot of its citizens in Israel, so I don't know if Russia has any interest of wanting any war in this situation.
They don't have the capacity. I don't think it's about.
They're too busy with
appetite. It's about capability, and I just don't think the Russians have the bandwidth. They can barely defend their own bloody airspace. You know what I mean?
That's why the only country that said we'll step up is North Korea. Russia didn't say they're going to step up. North Korea said that they're going to help Iran. So what's clear to me is Iran is on their own, and North Korea was helping Russia and Ukraine. So I feel like the last country that they could fall on is North Korea. And they would have to pay out of their own pocket for that, I believe. So from my own opinion,
Yeah, I mean, from the North Korean side in Kursk in Russia, it was very, well, inconsistent, shall we say. They denied it for months, and then eventually when you had piles of North Korean bodies being emerged, and then also when the Russians retook Kursk, it's, or much of Kursk, it's, you know, it was finally revealed that they did. I do wonder how much the North Koreans would get involved, as much of their industrial capacities are really supporting the Russians. And then obviously there's the distance, proximity thing. It's quite easy for North Korea to deliver to Russia because it's just over the Russian airspace. But here you've got to go through other countries, and there's a bit of a more complicated, you know, delivery path. So
I think
I'm not
what
expecting Iran much use to do this.
Iran's biggest mistake is that they started too many war fronts, and they wanted to support too many of their proxy groups without wanting to take any responsibilities for it. And, you know, they couldn't look forward to seeing that one day that all their proxies group could be dismantled and they would be the last person standing, and that's where we're left at, checkmate. So I think Iran is going to be looking at the end of its life here pretty soon, and maybe for a new regime. At least that's what both countries are hoping for.
Yeah, interesting though, the reports earlier saying that they're going to condemn the events, activities by actions by Israel. So, yeah,
They say that
I haven't seen much diplomatic conversation.
They've been having very close relationship with Israel behind closed doors. They always say that we condemn the actions of Israel, but then behind closed door they're having cheers and they're drinking glasses of champagne. So like let's
Non-alcoholic champagne. Non-alcoholic champagne.
Non-alcoholic champagne.
When the Formula One's in town, isn't it? But boys, you wanted to jump in, or James, I saw your hand up as well. You got any news?
Nothing on my end. Yeah.
So just can you voice maybe do a summary again for us? So sort of the Israelis were launching a subsequent round of strikes on certain targets, right? How long did that last? What was the fallout from that in the past hour and a half?
Oh my God, you really tackle me. It's hard to get that from from the back of my head here. But yeah, there were 2 waves of attacks. About 200 Israeli fighter jets were participating in each and every one of them. Of course, the first one was hitting the chain of command, which had the entire Air Force leadership meeting in one place. This is something that has to do with the Mossad. There was a lot of intelligence work happening on the ground to get them all to be in the same room, and then to conduct this target. Then you had, of course, a lot of attacks on you had the Iranian Tehran International Airport, you had Natanz, you had Perchin, you had, I really cannot pull them out of my head, computer. I need to look at what got hit.
It's all right, don't worry. I know I put you on the spot there. It was more just generally what we've seen, which was 2 rounds, and now we're waiting, effectively for the Iranians to respond. Is that sort of the
yeah, we're waiting for them to respond, and we are. You see that we are prepared for it. This is a little bit less talked about, but also the Israeli Air Force is operating on the Iraqi-Syria border, also to prevent from the Iraqi Shia militias to somehow participate, because like James was mentioning earlier, Hezbollah is off the menu at this point, so they're not going to participate, at least not according to what it looks like. So the IAF is also operating there. Of course, there are extra batteries of David Sling, Arrow 1, Arrow 3 air defense system, and also there are tailored warning of the home front command as well that is also alerting regarding the areas of living. And we constantly get reports about launches of drones, couple of here, couple of there, that are approaching Israel, but none of them really penetrated the Israeli airspace. So this is why it's not big headlines with everything that is happening right now. And I think, this is what is happening right now. Basically, a little bit of nuclear component facilities, ballistic missiles, launchers, and I think the most interesting thing is that in the initial wave, and I think this is what people should really focus on right now, the Mossad was able to establish for months now launching pads from trucks within Iran. That those drones, those Israeli drones, were actually attacking the air defense systems first before we even saw the big air campaign. And I think this is what's the most interesting part in this entire action. It's not just the Air Force, it's what the Mossad have managed to establish on the ground as well.
True, indeed. I think it goes back to what I was saying about the Ukrainians and the Israelis sort of, I don't know if they're directly learning from each other, so to speak, but it's, you know.
They do.
Yeah, they do? Yeah, I thought so. But no, I mean, running with your theme of sort of on the menu, I mean, you know, Iran's reeling yet again, and the Israelis are largely, you know, feasting there. They're eating away at assets that the Islamic Republic have or had, and well, they just don't. Oh, if they're going to shoot a bunch of ballistic missiles, it seems a little bit underwhelming. Obviously, trying to what's the word, jinx anything, but you know,
it's only enough that fuel goes through. Only fuel can cut through and make really big damage if they hit our target.
Absolutely. No, I know. I'm not trying to play that down. It's just, you know, for all the talk that they make all this time, rhetoric. It's underwhelming in the face of things. But James, you had your hand up. I'm sure you want to make some points.
Yeah, I want to make a point about the region. So right now in the situation we are in the region, the escalations around the region, Iran's position is they want to be the strongest person north of in the North Levant. That's their position. You have Saudi Arabia was getting more and more control in the peninsula and in North Africa, and now you need Iran needed to be positioned as the strong strong person in the northern part of the Levant. The issue that happened is that when the opportunity was at its best, let's say military-wise, I'm not saying it's a good thing, I'm saying military-wise, October 7th, the Promised 1 attack, the Promised 2 attack, when those attacks happened, we didn't see a mobilization of the entire axis around the attack. And today, that's what's happening to Iran. Iran is on its own because of the military and strategical mistakes that they did. When you attack and you want to go attack an enemy, the person you consider an enemy that's much stronger than you, and you have all those capabilities, you have the ability to go by foot from the north and from groups that are on the territory itself, so bordering the territory. You can throw rockets, you can throw ballistic missiles from afar in order to overwhelm the capability of the defenses of the enemy, and then shoot bigger rockets, bigger ballistic missiles into the territory. You could have overwhelmed the situation enough in order to reach this position. What we've discovered, what we've found out, is that it's paper tiger. Like the entire axis in itself have failed. It crumbled every time a decision was taken to attack a certain group from that axis. The same thing happened. Within the first 48 hours to 72 hours, the Tier 1 leadership is gone.
So James, we got... Okay, that's always his choice of words. Trump says Israel strikes on Iran might actually boost chances for a nuclear agreement. I don't think so, quote. Maybe the opposite. Maybe now they will negotiate seriously. He still believes a deal is possible. They were close. They should have done it. Maybe now it will happen. Meanwhile, Israel admits the bombing won't fully stop Iran's nukes, but hopes it sets the stage for a US-led deal. So strike first, negotiate.
I generally don't want a deal to happen. I generally don't want a deal to happen. No one from both countries want a deal to happen.
Yeah, everyone wants the deal to happen. Like, everyone wants to reach a position where Iran is abiding by a certain set of understanding and rules that they work on. But what happened is that no one could control what Iran was going to do. That's what happened before. With the damage that's being imposed and the destruction of all its militia forces in the region and all the effort, all the IRGC external wings and the IRGC in Afghanistan 2.2, where Israelis or even American or French or UK people are controlling the land inside of Iraq. Iran will get out of this without the deal. There is no possibility. The question is, how much destruction will they accept to take until they reach a deal? Are they?
James, can I just jump in with something from the IDF? This is a statement from the IDF. The IDF attacked a nuclear site in the Isfahan region. At this moment, Air Force fighter jets have completed an attack on the Iranian regime nuclear site in the Isfahan area under precise intent.
almost go out.
Were you know, surprised that Israel, because I think it's important to highlight, we have Israeli drones flying over, for example, we have video of it, of Israeli drones flying over to Greece. I mean, these aren't stealth drones. Let's make it clear. These are not stealth drones. These are just normal drones like RMQ-9s that get shot down by the Houthis, right? That's why they're there. But they're freely operating over Iran. We have not seen a single image, video report of Iranian being able to shoot down any Israeli air assets. The irony is the Houthis are having more success against American drones than the Iranians against Israeli drones. And again, these aren't succeeding drones. I mean, what does that tell you? And what does that highlight? Was it, you know, maybe the strikes against the, because one of the key targets was the command structure of the Iranian Air Defense Unit, the KHATC. Did that have an effect? Maybe was Iranian air defense just more powerful? You know, people talked about it, I guess, was more powerful than it really was. I mean, what does that tell you, Matt?
Yeah, and like, I'm starting to wonder a couple different things as we look at it. Yeah, number one, they did have a very good effective strike when it comes to knocking out those aerial defense systems, and all of that being pre-coordinated. It's likely some of the first things that ended up getting taken out. I would be surprised if Mossad and their drones, you know, like being launched, didn't have a huge effect on that, on some of these, like,
And that's the issue that I had.
Of what some of these things are, but for them to be able to go over and knock out some of these key components that would shut those systems down and render them inoperable. When we started seeing some of the Iranian fighter jets getting launched, you know, that F-35 isn't necessarily you know, dogfight. It's not really what it's designed for, right? So as those things start to pop up on their radar, they're able to fire freaking, you know, from multiple kilometers away and just start knocking aircraft out of the sky if they absolutely need to. So those F-35s can dominate every single piece of air power that Iran has. So to me, that's what it's at. But the other thing that I look at as well, because I've seen what appear to be images of ballistic missiles and aerial defense systems that are getting knocked out that didn't seem to be manned. And this is the part that really started to make my head turn a little bit. If they're not getting ready fully to go into operation, they're not being manned, but they're getting struck, is that because people are abandoning their equipment, that they're essentially defecting when the word went down on all the leadership that was turned knocked out. So, still waiting to see.
I want to just quickly jump in. Yes, I'm going to go to you. I just want to give a quick.
But I have an answer for you second.
I just want to give a quick misinformation alert. There's a video circling around showing apparently claiming that it's an Israeli pilot that his plane was shot down, took down, and there's a parachute video. That video apparently is from when Turkey shot down the Russian Su-24. That is not from this recent event. I just wanted to highlight that, everybody. Because I saw it, people are going to start tagging. That is not from. If there's a report, there's been reports in Iranian Telegram channels indicating an Israeli jet was shot down, and then this video populated. That video appears to be from when Russia lost its Su-24, not related to the current event. Sorry, James.
Guys, can you give me 2 minutes? I need to drop off. I just want to make some closing comments, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go on, Hazem, and then I do want to jump in. We've got
not to beat a dead horse, but the whole question regarding North Korea helping, there's no way they can help. I mean, the only way they can help is sending missiles by sea, and it's not the ship that will be taken out if that attempt happens. It's the whole port that will be taken out. The other point I want to make, it's a very important conversation that was happening earlier regarding the oil facilities. The oil facilities are not on the target list at this point for multiple reasons. The U.S. side President Trump has been clear all along that those should not be hit because they affect global markets. On one end, they affect American public opinion. But also, there's a more important aspect that any attack on oil facilities may open, at least in the Iranian regime's mind, the opportunity to strike oil facilities in the region. And that is something that nobody in the region and nobody in the United States want. A final point, actually, to that parachute video, and I've been wanting to mention this for a while. As somebody who have been involved in coordinating air campaigns, I am beyond impressed at the capability, discipline, and technical discipline by by the Israeli Air Force. We're talking about a very complex campaign with thousands of miles being flown continuously by each platform. Not a single incident. That is unprecedented. There needs to be a huge kudos to the IAF for being able to maintain such campaign with no incidents, no catastrophic incidents, no catastrophic failure. Yeah, go ahead.
Breaking news.
I'm done. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I do want to break in. This was shared. What was this? A couple minutes ago. So this was IAF spokesman, Brigadier General F.E. Duffer press conference was cut short due to military headquarters going on heightened alert. While taking questions at the Hero military headquarters in Tel Aviv, a loudspeaker could be heard announcing that the base is going into defensive standby alert, meaning that it is preparing for an attack. As of now, no ballistic missiles have been launched from Iran. This was 6 minutes ago, but the Kira did go into heightened alert during a live press conference. James, I saw your hand up. And then there's others, but James, I don't know if you have other breaking news.
Okay.
Or voice, go ahead.
No, it's just that it connects to the question you asked, and before, sorry James, but I'm sure he will ask me before the discussion goes to somewhere else. You asked how can it be that Israeli drones can operate on the ground on Iranian soil while Iranian drones are not being as successful. Now, if we already established that we have Mossad teams and other human assets that are being there on the ground and of course helping this entire operation, so well that they have actually managed to launch those drones undetected from all these mobile launching pads, then you have to understand that whatever forces that are on the ground, they also have probably portable jammers. So they are like sort of like a man pack that can disrupt radio frequency, GPS signals, telemetry signals. You know, they can do GPS spoofing. So they could basically have spoofing devices. They can be next to the Kashan Air Base, for example, and disrupt communications there. That will be very hard for the Iranian regime or the military to launch anything over there when there is no communication. You have that also in Israel. They're doing it sometimes in Israel when there is a conflict with Lebanon. I don't see a reason why they won't be able to do it there and physically compromise antennas, cut power to GCS. So, I mean, might explain what. And if I had to bet on it, I would put a suitcase of money that that's the case.
So I wanted just to talk quickly about, thank you, voice, a couple of points. So let's not forget the attack started around 20 hours ago, a bit less, 18 to 20 hours ago. It has been a continuous back and forth with the time it takes to go back, refute, restock, and to weapon again and strike. It started with an assassination of the top leadership, and then everything from there were attacks on locations, like important military locations, especially related to the ballistic missiles and to the nuclear program that Iran has. What I want to talk about is right now we're starting to get what seems to be a wake up from the Iranian media apparatus on Twitter and on other areas start talking about shooting down planes, and then the air defense is starting to work, drones being hit, and the possibility of an attack in the next couple of minutes or couple of hours. All of this is like, I think 20 hours, not too late, but we were expecting a faster response, which shows how Israel took the Iranian by surprise. What I want to add is please make sure that when you get information like the F-35 being hit, I wanted to ask Matt this question if he's available. Do you really believe?
Sorry, James, just to jump in, mate. Voice, you've just said that apparently there are missiles now being launched towards Israel. That's coming from her because she's obviously in Israel and she's received an alert, nationwide alerts in the coming minutes according to Home Front Command. That also comes from Faith Took News. So it looks like the Iranian response has begun of some form now. We wait to see exactly what, and obviously for everyone in the...
Let them come, Peter.
I have a we're giving you as much updates as we can. But
just let me.
yeah.
Thank you. Let me just ask the question to Matt. Matt, what's the probability that the defense system could shoot an F-35 or an F-15? The Iranian air defense system could shoot one of those planes down, because that's what's being reported right now in the media.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, that's their best shot is going to be the S-300s for the Russians, and they're rumored to have the S-400s. So if they had S-400s, that might be their best shot at getting it done. But I don't think they actually have. I only saw one report last year that Iran possibly had them. But what we've learned from the Ukraine war about the Russian S-300 system is that they're not nearly as formidable as we had thought they would be. So I would put very low probability that the S-300s are going to be able to take care of that. Plus, again, when we go back, we start talking about the different intel on the ground that was able to assess and all this happened. It's just highly improbable.
Well, following up on that, what do we know about the Iranian capabilities then? What do we know about the Iranian capabilities on responding to
I was thinking the same thing.
In which way? Was it
Responding back towards Israel? Is that your question?
If they are being,
one, responding back to Israel,
Why?
and two is protecting whatever is coming from Israel.
Yeah, protecting what's coming from Israel, their best shots, and likely Israel is actually launching a bunch of cruise missiles from
the Iranians, then Israel can do it to any other country in the region. That's it.
Wait me real quick, bro. I got a question. I need tech support.
I will always have hope for Palestine. Within the borders of Palestine, we can deal a heavy cost to the Israelis as long as we're not expelled. Other than that, everything happening outside of Palestine is a complete frustration by everybody. The Turks, the Arabs, the Iranians.
Look, there's a cake.
أعتقد كلهم عم بيجوا كيف نخلص الشغل.
I know it's great, bro.
Don't let it sit in here. We don't throw pennies left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
May I make a quick comment? Sure. I was a bit confused about all this. So I went into the history, and I understand that the Brits were there after the Civil War. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, because it was part of the Ottoman Empire initially. Then the Brits, this is after the First World War, the Brits, the French, and I think there was another nation.
Ashkenazi csak inkább siességtem.
Dumb as fuck.
Yeah, smart Europeans, which were born, they didn't got any children. Targets, and again, if they do have a nuclear warhead, now would be the time for them to use it, to be perfectly honest, because the regime's in danger of losing power, right? Like, desperate times call for desperate measures type things. But quantity definitely is going to end up being one of those things that Iran is going to be looking at using in order to get those missiles through. The question is how accurate they're going to be, and that's where I tend to go with the accuracy of these missiles so that they end up trying to take out key locations like Mossad headquarters. They try to capture that again, and they launch 20 out of opposed to just one.
Of a state and determined together to wipe out the Jewish state. I'll mute now and you keep going if you.
Real quick, so I can say organized. Don't forget what you're going to say, Jay. But remember, we're talking about apartheid, right? Is it happening or is it not? Because I'm trying. Hold on, Jay. I'm just trying to keep track. You know, if anybody wants to help make sense out of El Normo's counter argument, you know. If you talk over me, horrible, I will smack the I will put you in the goo.
Okay.
So, great. I think that if somebody wants to help me, it didn't make sense. You know, if it makes sense to anybody else, then that'd be great, you know.
Okay.
Because I'm going to mark it down as apartheid.
Yeah.
And I hope you know what you're talking about, because I think you just got in the room.
Yeah, I mean, Norm is right to characterize the situation as very complex and tragic.
Is someone going to speak to the apartheid part?
Yeah, I was about to go there. I'm sorry. I always kind of try to put my conversation into larger context. So yeah, a lot of what Norm says is true. However, I have to say, you know, and I'm a very, very fair person. I don't think it justifies anything with what's going on in Gaza right now. It's a tragedy and it's horrific.
Is it apartheid or is it not?
I think so. I think it is.
All right, so you can't do what I requested. Thank you. Hopefully you can chime in with something else.
Oh well. You want specific samples? Yeah, sorry, I have to do my homework.
No, I need somebody that's going to help support Normo's counter argument, so I can make sure I'm being fair, figure out how to judge each point at a time.
Well, yeah, I mean, Gazans can't leave, enter Israel, and come out of Israel freely.
That's not what I'm requesting. I'm looking for something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
By the way, 40,000 Gazans came into Israel for a day to work. We paid them 10 times what they would get paid in Gaza, and they returned home. Those people later invaded and slaughtered the people that employed them in the Gaza envelope in the Hebrew.
I'll mark it as a part.
I wouldn't sweeping generalization on.
All right, so we've got it. It's apartheid. So I have that noted. Let's move on to whatever else. I guess Jay, you wanted some clarity before we move on to the next incident. Go ahead, Jay. Hopefully you didn't forget.
I kind of have, but it's okay. It's not a problem.
Okay, let's move on to the next.
Are you looking for evidence to support your claim?
We got that. I just said we're moving on. Is it? Unless somebody can provide some kind of counter argument. You might have just got in, but Rohan provided that is really fine.
So was there a law or a policy of racial discrimination anywhere in Israel? Did anybody come up with an answer?
Detail that.
So he feels that outside.
That's why it's important to stay organized.
Yeah.
See how we grow. Like I don't want to be.
He didn't say apartheid. He said it was intention to dominate and inhumane, and it was systematic oppression
He
outside.
did say that all three of those things met the requirements for apartheid based on
Yes, international law. Now listen,
international law.
Can anybody provide a counter argument? If not, we're just going to move on to the next thing.
Quickly though, I need a question. So Norm was talking about Gaza, not in Israel, like proper.
No, we're talking about the area.
Oh no, I disagree with him.
Okay, well, it's apartheid. I got it marked down.
Yeah, it's 100%.
Aside from it. Okay. Next.
I was just calling real quick. It would seem like by that loose definition, practically every country in the world is apartheid, especially the entire Arab world, including the
state have self-governance in some area?
It's literally between past and
I hear you, brother, and I feel like you're trying to contribute in good faith, but like, you know, it is a little bit disruptive. Like, I'm trying to.
Spending too much time on it. Just go right ahead, pass.
I'd like to hear from the person who actually said it. You know what I'm saying?
I was referring to the different justice systems for African Americans versus their counterparts in
great.
the U.S.
Yes, perfect. Got it.
But the other guy made up a good point. There are separate territories, like Norm was mentioning, Zone A, B, and C, where reservations are under different jurisdictions, different laws than people that aren't in those jurisdictions. So that would seem apartheid as well.
Apartheid. Hold on, no, because we're having a back and forth. We're having a back and forth. Please control yourself. Please fucking control yourself. So yeah, that's actually not anything at all. Like, no, Native American reservations are not operating in an apartheid type of manner. It feels condescending to explain that to a grown adult. So I don't really want to go beyond that statement. That's a ridiculous assertion to make. Nobody is getting profiled for not living or for not being Native American when they're in a reservation. Like, that's not a fucking thing that happens. That is the most unbelievably bad faith argument you could possibly make in this scenario. Which is why I was saying that there's no point in arguing with Zion.
Then we could even.
So if we're talking about if you're talking about the two justice systems, so if you're talking about, please shut the fuck up so I can finish talking, please. Excellent. Please remain shutting the fuck up. Yeah, so when you're talking about two justice systems, I think that it would be a great argument to make that America is operating under a highly oppressive state against black people. The thing is that there are not actual law, and again, this feels condescending to say to a grown adult because it's obviously stupid. There are not two literal justice systems in America. That is something that black people are trying to convince white people of a reality of an oppressive state that we live under in this country. So if you're arguing that, like, well, America is an apartheid state too, then I would say, cool, we might be a little closer aligned than you fucking think. But I don't think that that's the assertion that you're making. There are not two literal legal systems for black people. It's just that one group is persecuted more, prosecuted more, illegally arrested more than any other group in this country. But there are not two actual legal systems for black people. You gotta be a fucking idiot to think that anybody would even take that kind of argument seriously.
There are 3 points of oppression, but my main point was the Arab world's clearly apartheid, and I just threw in the United States as an extra bonus. But your definition didn't say two separate legal systems. The 3 points specifically included power and oppression, correct? Of different ethnicity.
I was simply just responding to what you said, brother. This is what I mean when I say you can't argue with Zionists. These niggas are stupid.
No, but you responded by throwing in a 4th bullet point of your definition of apartheid.
I worked with Nelson Mandela's bodyguard, and I found out all about this.
Alex, do you want to go?
Yeah, I don't understand what he's trying to say by conflating.
I don't know either.
No, what I was saying was
It's already shit point.
Maybe I guess the similarities between state and federal, because all states have different laws from each other, but they all fall under federal authority, including Native American reservations. So no, you're incorrect.
He doesn't even know what his own point is that he's trying to make. Like, this
Answer me
is
this
an exercise.
Would you say that the Arab countries are apartheid states? All of them.
I don't fucking care. We're talking about Israel.
Because no Jews, no news, guy.
We're literally talking about Israel.
No, you're calling out injustice in apartheid states because until
honest, those seem very vague and could be applied to a lot of countries.
Okay, so it seems very clear that in the Arab world, a tax system exists between Muslims and non-Muslims, making
Different
every
tax
Arab
system.
country an apartheid state. Thank you.
Yeah, but you pay less tax.
You didn't hit any of. You didn't hit all of those. The three.
Which one wasn't it?
Rohan, you have to hit all three, right?
So, you mean as far as the legal framework for apartheid?
Yeah.
Yes,
This
it
is not
says.
a legal. This is a made-up framework. It's not the definition of
Bro,
apartheid.
everything in the world is made up.
No, apartheid actually has a meaning.
Yes.
That's why we're protesting in South Africa.
I'm not looking for the meaning. I think we all understand the meaning. What I'm looking for is the requirement to, make it that description, the criteria.
Yeah.
I think in this case, the meaning is in the requirement. So, like, if we establish.
Exactly. No.
Right, so.
I mean, we can go ahead and. I mean, if you guys really want to state the meaning, and then but we're looking for criteria. So.
I do think, like, a criteria would be good to
it helps
establish.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to read.
Right.
I'm trying to. So, here it is. This definition is from the 1973 Apartheid Convention. I would imagine that they may know something about apartheid. And it comes under the Rome Statute, which is from the International Court of Appeals, the International Criminal Court. And between those two, they established 3 elements for apartheid. Those elements are: 1, intent to dominate one group by another; 2, systematic oppression; and 3, inhumane acts. Those are the 3 things that establish apartheid by international courts.
That is wild. And was anybody ever brought up on these charges and had the opportunity to confront their defense? It's very wild. And had the opportunity to confront their accuser and provide the evidence? Did that ever happen, or is this something that somebody decided ex parte? So, just wondering. Asking for a friend. You're out of. You don't have any audio.
Which one of those points does the Muslim governments not do to the non-Muslims within the Arab world? It seems very obviously clear that the non-Muslims meet all 3 of those points of oppression, power dynamics, marginalization, and violence.
This will be one of
non-Muslim populations within the Muslim Arab world.
Well, this will be what about Islam, right? Because
No, but the whole theory is everyone's an apartheid. There's many apartheid states then.
Okay,
You're kind of claiming Israel seems to be this lone, apartheid state in the world.
No, that's your narrative. Nobody said technically only the apartheid state in the world. We're talking about Israel right now. If you want to talk about the questions answer, we can do that.
Yeah, the problem I'm hearing is the moment Rohan or anybody says, let's just narrow this down to Israel. I've heard people say, okay, well, let's talk about America. Let's talk about what they're doing in Antarctica. Like, we're talking about a specific thing, and it seems like you're trying to obfuscate or distract us from the conversation.
No, I think what he's doing is he's halfway admitting that yes, it's an apartheid state, but so is everything else.
No, I was trying to say
That's pretty much what's happening.
I hear outrage all day long about Israel being an apartheid. Not once in the past 2 years have I heard any mention of not one Arab country being an apartheid state. So given that you guys care so much about justice and freedom and individual liberty, I just find that quite alarming and somewhat surprising. And I don't believe it's whataboutism. I believe it's a critique of your intentions.
Okay, Judas.
And your values.
Johannes, if you're right, we're hypocrites. Now what?
Hold on for a second.
I think racism is insane that you're going to go immediately to Arab nation.
It's all right. So listen, right now I don't see any pushback on Israel being an apartheid. And then one second, Norma. And I guess if you guys want to entertain this, and I'm fine with it. What Jihadis said. I think what you should do, Jihadis, is the same thing that Norma will requested everyone to do, and so go ahead and give us,
No, I don't think Rohan came to prove. He said
exactly what I'm going
Hang on. That's the only one he said. Legal system. And I pointed out to you that inside of America, there's one legal system. Outside, we're not subject, like in Mexico, we're not subject to their legal system. I pointed that out. Outside of Israel, the Israeli citizens are subject to the Israeli legal system, and non-Israelis are not. That seems fair to me.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, they're subject, by the way, they're subject to Palestinian Authority law, by the way, which is the same thing. So Jews don't enjoy the benefits of Palestinian Authority law. In fact, we're not allowed into the Palestinian Authority.
There is no, what benefit? So yeah, what happened there? So you said that.
Living, thriving,
Building,
living, thriving
where are they
in the
building,
Palestinian
living, and
Authority.
thriving?
In Area A. In Area A. It's quite rich, actually. I was just there. It's
You know,
very,
it's actually quite interesting because
Yes.
you're talking about Area A.
Yes, I am.
How do you get over there? What, do you
You
have
drive.
to, you just drive straight? Do you get
Yes.
stopped by anybody? Any checkpoints?
There's one checkpoint leaving
Yeah, okay,
Israel.
there you go. There, right there,
Hang on.
the fact that they cannot move. Alright? You already, there you go. This goes to where romance example is
That's
too.
crossing the border.
Because they
That's
are,
crossing the border. When you leave Israel, you cross the border. You leave the country. So there's a checkpoint.
What happens over there? What happens when Palestinians try to go into any, I don't even want to call it.
Okay. When a non-citizen Arab comes into an Israeli area, they are checked. When a non-citizen Israeli goes into an Arab area, they are checked. Often they're killed, by the way. There's no difference there. That's not a separate legal system. I'm telling you, I'm just there. What do you want to know?
All right, so listen, this is what happened, right? So normally you said that. I don't think people really understanding what you said. So I opened the floor. So hold on. So I opened the floor for anyone else to support your counter argument. We didn't get much. I know we got a whataboutism, and I get it. We'll I said we can entertain that too, but you just provide the proof the same way Rohan did. If you guys want to entertain it, but you know, you're saying that people aren't seeing it, even the people on your side, unless they have to take another stab at it. Anyone want to support what Normal said?
Well,
If not, we'll move on to the next. Yes.
This is the strength of an argument, not anybody's support. Rohan mentioned vague things. Oppression, inhumane, dominate. He didn't give one single example except for separate legal systems. And I pointed out that Israelis have an Israeli legal system. Palestinians have a Palestinian legal system. They're different.
So this is not
That's
true.
not apartheid. That's not apartheid.
I actually have written down what I said. So here it is. But you gotta go on mute. I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you. So the HRW documented widespread policies affecting Palestinians, including
Name one, yeah.
Normal.
What the fuck? Are you?
Oh my God.
Bro, you gotta be open. My 3-year-old nephew doesn't do this.
Including.
Name one. Anyhow, you just want me to start again? Documented widespread policies affecting Palestinians, including, and I read this before, movement restrictions, checkpoints, barriers, land confiscation, home demolitions, forcible displacement, denial of residency, and dual legal system. Dual legal systems was number 4 on the list.
So, no examples of any of the others, right? Or am I wrong? Not one example.
Show me how it be like all this sort of compatible with it not being apartheid. But do they have a specific like here's a specific case where the government say, hey, because of your ethnicity and race, you can't do this, or is it like security issues? Like, can we actually get details as to what it is?
I would say exactly where I'm coming from.
So now, wait, hold on. I just want people to see what just happened. First, it was everything I mentioned was dual laws. Turns out that's not.
That's the only one we can talk about.
Oh my God.
You can't help it. It's like you can't help it. There's something about impulse control and IQ that we won't get into, like impulse control and rational thinking. But I'm gonna post those. I'm gonna post those in the chat. I'm gonna post those in the chat in a little bit. What it talks about impulse control and how it correlates with poor rational thinking. That'll be my last.
Don't forget to include the fragility.
Hold on. I'm gonna get this out. So I want people to
thread is what just happened. We slid from the only thing I mentioned was dual laws. Turns out that was number 4 on the list. So without even saying, you know what, I was wrong about that, they're now trying to slide to, well, I didn't give specific examples. Instead of saying, let's go through the specific examples, because there are many. There are many.
That's my. Well, let's have one.
So,
because I never. This is my first time calling Mike really. That's what I want to hear. Because I'm kind of agnostic. Yeah, what's this to me examples?
okay, cool. So I'm gonna go through the report now from it's actually called Abusive Israeli Policies Constitute Crimes of Apartheid and Persecution, Crimes Against Humanity Should Trigger Action to End Repression of Palestinians. This is by the Human Rights Watch. So I'm gonna go through now and make some examples for you guys. But just don't keep moving the goalposts.
Well,
it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for your argument to keep doing that. Give me some time.
One is just, I think there's a lot of confusion on what these areas even are. I mean, Norm keeps trying to draw the distinctions. You remember, actually, the goalpost is actually kind of shifted. The first claim was Israel is an apartheid state. The West Bank isn't Israel. Unless you want to say that's Israel, then okay, then all those Palestinians no longer get that West Bank. Then I guess the Oslo Accords have been solved. I guess they annexed it then. But if you don't want to make that claim, and that is going to eventually be a Palestinian state, maybe, then what is the claim? Israel should have their laws be put on it.
Does that still mean that IDF is going to go into the West Bank and cause
terrorism? The fight terrorism?
What terrorism? What do you mean? What terrorism?
And architecture.
For example, of Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad in the city of Jenin and Tukara, as we've been fighting.
Okay, so tell me what, all kinds of things.
So there are massive weapons caches, and
where's the proof of that?
Well, we photographed it.
Come on now, it's like you're on weapons of mass destruction shit.
Where? I mean, no, not weapons of mass destruction.
Put the link in.
Sure. Okay.
You're saying that you're very weapons of mass destruction.
But I didn't say weapons of mass destruction.
I know you didn't. I was making a reference. Okay.
Like a joke or something?
Everybody thought that it was a joke, it was for a metaphor. Okay.
So, do you want the list of the terrorist organizations in Jenin?
Put me through. Go right ahead.
You want the proof of the terrorists in Jenin?
Yeah, provide transportation and then put the proof in the chat. That's all.
Put the proof.
Okay.
Of what you claim is in the West Bank. The IDF has to go there. You're talking about,
I'm happy to.
Yeah, all right.
So, first I'll read it to you and then I'll put it in the chat. Hang on. It's coming up. Okay. This is from January 23rd, 2025. That's the first thing that came up. So, gunmen in Jenin attack Jews in Israel and in Judea and Samaria. They are run by both Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. By the way, some of them in Jenin participated in the October 7th attack and in numerous terrorist attacks in Israel proper. They actually come into Israel, despite what you were falsely calling the apartheid. They do come in and go in Israel. I just put the first thing that came up. I just did terrorism in Jenin. There is a ton of it. Israel's been fighting a war for survival for decades. So let's go to another one. France 24. It's weeks-long West Bank operation. They have terrorist infrastructure there. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that in the chat. That's from France 24. I mean, there's so many examples that
Rohan, no rush. How are you doing? You have something? Oh, sorry.
Stop unmuting me.
Shut
Let me
the
mute
fuck
myself.
up. Shut the fuck up, horrible. I don't even like your ass. Alright? So I will mute you, I will kick you, I will do what the fuck I want.
14 terrorists eliminated, weapons stash located in Geneva operation.
He has no control. Is this part of the I'm ready whenever the street clears.
Alright.
I just gave you the weapons stash, by the way. I mean, there's tons of this. It's like every day they're doing
Okay, cool. Alright, so
we're at a wall with that.
this
Yeah.
he is crazy.
Not crazy? Oh, I know what I'm talking about.
Stop interrupting. How is this hard?
He doesn't have the ability.
I'm the one person on the stage defending the Jews. The one person.
Hey, and if I get you.
Hey, I've been a good goyim.
Alright,
But they're not doing any time, Star.
That's the way I'm done.
Not to mention jihadists right here.
You're not as good as
Okay, cool. So, some people were asking for examples. So I'll get right into examples. But I did want to say that that argument that keeps coming up about Israel's state and what happens inside the state to me is nonsensical, because if somebody said, well, World War II Germany, were they really terroristic against the Jews? Because most of the murders of Jews happen outside of Germany. Nobody will make that argument, right? Because it's silly. It's an embarrassing argument to keep making. But
That's not what I'm saying.
I am gonna keep reading. So let me get to my point. For examples, torture and abuse in detention. So this is documented by the UN Committee Against Torture, Human Rights Watch, the Israeli Human Rights NGO, and Public Committee Against Torture in Israel. Methods reported: beating during interrogation, stress position, sleep deprivation, threats of rape or harm to detainees or their families, excessive isolation, tight handcuffing, continuous physical abuse.
I'm Israel Child and much support to the Indian LGBTQ community. My fellow whites, welcome to New York. For Israel.
Adults and children. Many Palestinian minors have been subjected to physical and psychological
Black
abuse.
Lives
This is
Matter.
documented
I'm
repeatedly
Israel.
by UNICEF and the Defense for Children International
Here
and
comes the money.
multiple other organizations. It said in 2015, contact with the military detention system appears to be widespread, systematic, and institutionalized.
Our history burns bright for trans liberation.
Systemic, widespread, and is like built into the institutions.
He sparked a revolution in the 1920s with the first gender-affirming surgeries at his Institute for Sexual Science.
Yeah, that's what it said.
Hope
Do you guys have a problem?
repairing a world through love for all identities. But the evil Nazis torched his institute in 1933, burned our precious transgender books, tried to erase it.
So the use of administrative detention, Palestinians held without charge or trial for years, usually on evidence. Used extensively. As of 2024, 1,200 Palestinians were in administrative detention. There were no charges, and they cannot defend themselves in court. These charges were it says no charges, cannot defend themselves in court, often renewed endlessly. And then it goes into talk about the blockades, severe restrictions of movement, humanitarian crises, shortage of medicine, fuel, clean water, and building materials, collapse of the economy, frequent intentional electricity blackouts. Then it goes on to excessive force and killings, using live ammunition against unarmed protesters. Over 200 Palestinian protesters killed in violent protests. Home demolitions, they use it as punishment against families of suspected attackers. Condemned by the UN, a major human rights group, as collective punishment and inhumane treatment. So, in summary, torture and detention, ill treatment of children, inhumane treatment, torture of children, administrative detention, blockade, excessive force. I mean, this is documented by the UN, UNICEF, HRW, the CRC,
Amnesty International, on and on and on. This is not Rohan speaking. So I'll rest it. I mean, there's so much more. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what the argument, like, all of those are bad. If bad thing being apartheid, like, I don't know why you're trying to do this. What we're gonna really need is, like, some resolution to this. We really need is some necessary measure. We really need to catch up what the fuck we mean by this word. You read off a bunch of bad things, but to me, those all seem compatible under non-apartheid states. Like, I don't see why the U.S. couldn't do those same things to, like, random black people. Would we call that apartheid? Maybe we would, but that seems widely out of range with how we usually use it. I mean, if that's what we mean by apartheid, fine. This was an apartheid state. I don't even care about that point, but that just doesn't seem how, like, we typically use it.
Are you saying it doesn't meet the criteria for apartheid as defined in international law?
No, that just doesn't seem how we use apartheid. What he just named, like detention, harsh treatment. Like that's we do that to the African Americans. I don't think we'd say we live in an apartheid state. And then you might say it's a different degree, yada yada yada. But then I can also just say they're in wartime. Like there's terrorists over there. So yeah.
So you think it's just a coincidence that all the major organizations that study apartheid have come to this conclusion? I mean, is that hold on? No, I'm going to finish my sentence for one time. This time I'm going to finish my sentence. Do you think that it's just a coincidence that all the major organizations that study this, the people with expertise, with knowledge of what's happening, with case studies, matter of fact, I'm going to post some case studies next, with case studies, that they all come to the same conclusion? Is that just a coincidence, or could there be another reason why they all come to the same conclusion?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it could be possible. It is apartheid. Like I said, it's not apartheid, but what you've read doesn't seem to be anything like apartheid. I would just love to see them actually take this to court and be like, hey, you're doing apartheid because you're, fucking up kids and torturing them. That's what apartheid means. It's fair, okay, sure, that's what we mean by apartheid. But until then, it just seems like we're listing off bad things and saying bad things equal apartheid.
I'm getting a little confused. Are you saying that these bad things don't meet the criteria for apartheid, or you're saying yes, it does, but it doesn't?
No, it doesn't seem like any of those things meet. Yeah, it doesn't look like any of those things meet any necessary condition for apartheid.
And Rohan, just to be clear, where did you get that that source from? Where's that coming from?
Which one? This.
No, the criteria.
Oh, the criteria.
Rohan.
But the criteria comes from. Let me go back up real quick. That criteria that I listed comes from. Show it to me. Here it is. It comes. So it says these are applied definitions from the 1973 Apartheid Convention. Let me post that in the chat. And the Rome Statute from the International Criminal Courts. These establish 3 elements for apartheid: intent, oppression, and inhumane acts. Yeah.
So.
And the oppression is.
What's the intent part? I didn't get the intent part.
Sure. God fucking damn. Intent to dominate one group by another.
Oh, what's the evidence of that? Oh, you have evidence of the intent part? Oh, show me. Oh, please, I would like to see that.
Oh my god.
Okay, yeah.
Persecution of Muslims. Persecution of Muslims.
Oh, I mean, that shows in what, I mean, what? Persecution of Muslims? What are you talking? Wait, there's persecution of Muslims? Okay. Yeah, you have to list off, like, cases of that. Yeah, I'm not sure persecution of Muslims. I'm not sure persecution of Palestinians. Because if you mean persecution of Palestinians, not every Palestinian is Muslim. You have Christian Palestinians over there.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I don't know why he brought up
What do
Muslims.
you mean by
I don't
Muslims?
know why.
Yeah.
Even though Palestinians, why he decided to bring religious?
Let's keep it religious. Keep it pretty secular. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, that's gonna be very hard to show. That's what you would show.
Wait. All right. So what do you need to meet that criteria?
I mean, it'll be a couple things. And it might be subjective. One thing is going to be classified data, or something like that shows, like, hey, this was leaked, and we have intentions to dominate these people. This isn't because we're in a military or warfare situation.
Sounds good. All right, here you go. Here is Netanyahu getting his intent. There's another source if you don't like Al Jazeera.
What is this supposed to be?
Here's his intent. He's showing intent.
Wait. Intent for what? Intent for what?
There you go for it. That was
Wait, that wasn't even. That's not even what's in contention. about the apartheid situation in the West Bank. Gaza is totally. They're not even on.
All right, hold on.
We're talking about the West Bank. We're not talking about Gaza. We were talking about Israel proper originally. We had to move over to the West Bank.
What is Israel proper?
Israel proper is gonna. That's just how. That's just gonna be a clear distinction between the areas A, B, and C.
You're looking for intent of one group dominating another group, or what is it?
Well,
Yeah, I want
Wait.
Yeah,
Hold on. What is it? What are you looking for?
Yeah, the intent that any of these policies are intent to just hold domination over another, and that hey, like we're doing this for safety reasons, we're doing this until the Oslo Accords be finished, until peaceful negotiations be finished. Again, that whole area is disputed because we don't know if it's going to be a Palestinian state or an Israeli state. It's really why you can't put laws over there, because if you were to do that, then it would be an Israeli state. Well, Israel, I should say.
So then we should look for the proof. If anybody's interested in doing so, look for the proof of that, and then in the meantime, why don't you tell me what the intent? In the meantime, why don't you tell me what the intent is by your interpretation?
But I think the intent is to keep things as afloat as you can, without during the circumstance, given the context. I think you do have a bunch of agendas going on, and by I say that, I mean you have the settlements going on in the West Bank as far as Area C. So you have a lot of moving parts going on there. But the apartheid system that they're still be talking about is going to be situations where Palestinians are going to Area C, putting up houses, and they're demolishing them because those are illegal. The same thing Jews can't do that in Area A. Now we're going to call Area A an apartheid state because if a Jew puts the house there, it's going to get demolished. It seems kind of silly. It's just a different. I understand it's a totally different from what we're used to. It's totally different, but it's. I'll say this: if you want to call it apartheid, fine, but it will never be finished. We'll never clear up
Look
apartheid.
at the last three. Especially
that's fine. I just want to finish this.
It says Israel is moving towards full annexation of the West Bank.
That's fine.
That's their intention.
Well, if they do, that's not going to be dominating people. If they do annex it,
that's all.
But I'm just to be clear, if they do annex it, then they will be Israel, and those people will be presumably become citizens or get pushed out, and therefore the apartheid will end.
The intent is there. Each one of those things that I sent you have his.
But that wouldn't be apartheid. No, but annexing it wouldn't be apartheid.
Bro,
Can I try?
The intent to dominate. Can you go ahead?
Sure. Intent to dominate is not intent to annex.
Hold on, I want him to read the rest of it.
Yes, intent to dominate one group or another.
Right. That's not anything.
Within the same country, right? It has to be within the same country to be considered apartheid, right? Yes or no?
I don't know actually.
I don't think
It seems like it would have to be no. It seems like it would have to.
Right.
It just intuitively to me, it just seems like it would have to be the case. I think of maybe something special. I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe that is. You just do it.
So ideas about intent go like this. It says here. The goal of the settlement policy was create a permanent Jewish presence to prevent the establishment of a Palestinian state. It says this shows intent to dominate. The policy of permanent settlement is designed to make full
Apparently, out of the 150, only 9 of them,
Jewish
hit the
Israelis
ground.
as the
So
dominant group. In
I
addition,
don't
the Jewish
know. We'll see
legal
what
system
happens
is not
in the
incidental.
coming
The
hours.
system was designed and maintained intentionally to provide superior legal status to one ethnic group over another. Then it says movement restrictions. It says it quotes
It's not proportional. That's what I'm trying to say.
consideration.
It's not proportional. Iran is not capable of leveling proportional damage.
So when movement restrictions are used not just for short-term security, but to control the ability of a population to move, economically or organize politically, this is domination. Then it quotes Netanyahu saying there will be no more of your settlements. Every community will remain under Israel's sovereignty. Intent to dominate. Then it talks about denial of rights to return citizenship laws. So it says, it's quoting Justice Minister saying Israel must ensure a Jewish majority. That is the basis of our policy. This shows the intent to dominate through citizenship and the residency policies, explicitly prioritizing and preserving Jewish demographic dominance. So I mean, and there's more. It's like, so these were intentional policies put in place to dominate another group.
I think that meets your criteria. I think that meets that level.
Yeah, you can just send it to me. This, wait, let this happen. Never read it. Never read it, man. Okay, how do we end the apartheid?
I'm sorry?
We're Scott from Arabia. Greetings from Israel's eternal and
We now know that there's more.
Not apartheid. He's thinking that the expression will show that it's not apartheid. So.
No, it's not even.
So is it apartheid?
When you get set.
I don't think it's apartheid, but I
Do you want to go through other criteria from the ICC? Was it ICC?
We were just talking about, wait, Hannah, you're going way too fast. We're talking about the intent. I would like to see Rowan. I would like to go on the criteria. We're still on that intent criteria, which seems to be the necessary component to me, honestly. So I would like to see what he read, like going over quotes, because yeah. And one of them, like, so popular was about the right of return.
Yeah, I also gave you links as well, if you could go through those, but then Rohan, if you could, we'll go through the intent. What are the other?
What are we doing now? Let me moderate, please.
He wants more proof.
More proof?
That's
hold on.
I can answer what I want. I asked Ron, can you just send it to me? He read it.
No, you just told me. Okay, you just told me that you wanted to go through the intent. That's the criteria that you wanted to go through. That's
what Rohan is showing. Yes, that's what. Wait. This okay. I said what the biggest thing. This criteria is. It's for sure. The criteria is intent. I asked Rohan. Rohan was given. I am relaxed. I'm relaxed. Rohan was given evidence for intent. He read it off, and now I'm asking Rohan, can you send it to me? You just send it to me. I'm gonna read through it. It's not that hard to track what happened.
Yeah, you got way too many words. I don't know why you had to repeat that for some weird reason.
Because you don't understand. Every time I say it, you repeat something different.
Where do you want to go from here? What do you want to do? What do you want to do next?
No, at this point he needs to read what Rohan said. I think Rohan said, did you send it? You just send something.
So we're going to wait till he reads.
High breaking news, multiple rockets have struck in the heart of Tel Aviv.
Did they land?
Wait, you said some rockets hit Tel Aviv?
Did they land?
He does that all the time. He goes into rooms and does that.
No, look at the news, schmuck.
Yeah, as of 2 minutes ago, Iran strikes are shaking buildings in Israel. I'll drop the link.
Yeah, but did they land though?
Iran's retaliatory strikes have shaken buildings in Israel, according to former Israeli ambassador. It says Iran fired hundreds of various ballistic missiles towards Israel. In what? Tehran? Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get some point.
Dang it.
But it looks like they had to have landed. Some of them had to have landed because from the picture I'm seeing right now, it's showing rocket trails.
That could be, yeah, but they could have shot it down and the debris could have came down.
True. Alright, I'll drop the thing real quick.
Yeah, please do. I'm gonna keep my hopes up.
Okay, there it is.
You're gonna keep your hopes up because innocent people died, you sick, twisted bitch. Go look in the mirror and then go to the gym and unfuck your brain, you twisted slut, whore, filthy, vile cunt. Wishing for people's death. Oh yeah, is that what it's like in the ghetto? You wish for people to die on your street, you sick, twisted bitch.
Yeah, you don't care about murder, right? Shut
Oh man, we got him, bitch. We got him, bitch.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. No, what the fuck are you panda?
Yeah, let's move on.
Just also agree with you about this, but I'm not gonna openly rejoice. Let's keep it.
Okay, that's you.
So if I can try at this, basically there is Israel.
Yes, so
proper, right?
landed. Sorry.
There
I thought it was on mute.
wait. There is. Oh, okay. Mashallah. Okay. There is. Look, there is Israel proper. Then there's other disputed territory. Let's say Gaza, West Bank. What else? East Jerusalem. What's the other one? The last one? Golden Heights, right? So if you can indeed, let's just say, apartheid non-citizens or whatever the case may be, like does that then that is apartheid. But if apartheid is only within a country, within its own borders or whatever the case may be, then it's not apartheid. You see? Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys?
I'm sorry, can you explain it again?
It depends on apartheid. For example, in Russia and Ukraine, Russia would be committing apartheid. There's like a disputed territory, right? And I don't even know if Ukraine would be considered committing apartheid. Yeah. Those are not Israel proper, right? And that's what you guys are saying. There is apartheid.
You gave yourself a bad example.
Yeah, I know, but you see what I mean, though, right?
Can I respond to that directly?
Yeah, of course.
Sure. So it says, apartheid does not have to be limited to within a country's own borders. While apartheid is most famously associated with internal policies of South Africa, the legal definition of apartheid under international law is broader and can apply extraterritorially, that is beyond the state's own border.
Oh, that is apartheid 100%. Where's the lawyer that was here that lied to us about the law and stuff like this? He's actually right there. Normal. Come up for a second.
Oh, I forgot he was still in the audience. So I don't know if folks
No,
are
No, they're not. We have a definition. So yes, you can be committing apartheid in non-Israel proper. Does that make sense? Golden Heights, West Bank, Gaza, the other one. Whatever.
That's why it's so annoying, man.
You think Gaza's an apartheid state too? I'm just reading, but I had to come back to hear that. You think Gaza's an apartheid state? How?
Anyhow, states or entities, that argument is so stupid, will you guys stop making it, can be held responsible for apartheid practices they carry out in territories they control or occupy, even if those territories are outside their formal sovereign borders. Again, nobody would argue, well, World War II Germany wasn't really all the way terroristic because the Jews were mostly gassed in foreign countries. Like it's
No, that's not the same.
Well, it's a similar argument. It's similar enough just to say that the location of the actual apartheid actions is meaningless. It means nothing.
Being similar enough is that's meaningless. Like that, could you straw manning the point?
No. It's a parallel.
By definition, straw manning the point.
No, the parallel is here's a parallel. Here's what makes it an analogy that works. Because it doesn't have to be the same thing to be an analogy, right? If it were the same thing, it would not be an analogy.
I'm not saying it's not the same thing. I'm saying the analogy's property is false, actually.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about it. We're talking about if bad actions taken by a state, if the location of those actions determine this particular definition that we're talking about. So the location of the actions is meaningless.
By the way, that's not me or Norm's argument either, by the way.
Okay. So now we're moving to it's not the argument.
I didn't understand anything about location.
When is it in the argument?
Norm tried to correct you earlier when you tried to do that horrible thing here with this, like.
But there is a location.
It's very
location thing. It has nothing to do with location.
What? So West Bank, what is it?
The point is, being inside or outside the borders make absolutely no difference on how we determine if a state is terroristic or apartheid-like or not.
I agree. That's why that wasn't me and North's point. Which white people wrong.
Oh my gosh, that was the point the whole time.
No, it wasn't. And Nor even tried to say it wasn't.
The entire point.
Christ.
Like, Horrible made that stupid point. We never made that point. At least I didn't. I'll be clear, say I never made it.
Am I crazy?
No. Horrible was responding to his point.
So, is your point that Israel is horrible? Is your point that Israel is horrible, or is your point that Israel is apartheid, or has apartheid system?
It has apartheid system by definition in Gaza, West Bank, East Jerusalem, Gaulites.
I don't think you want to say all that. Let's just pick one. Otherwise, you don't really know what you're talking about. Like, you don't know what about Jerusalem. Let's take one at a time.
Okay.
So where is there apartheid?
Okay, let's take West Bank.
Okay. Well, we go to there. Where is the West Bank? Go ahead.
All of it.
Okay, so let's say if I go to a place called Efrat in the West Bank, is apartheid there?
No. Okay.
Not in Efrat. Okay. So tell me where. How about Ramallah? Is there apartheid there?
What about Hebron?
Okay. That's a good example. Let's go to Hebron. Okay. Now, what's happening in Hebron? Do you know what Hebron is?
Don't worry, I don't want to sit around talking to you. Normal, don't worry.
Me neither. Let's talk about Hebron.
For you, don't you worry.
No, I just want to ask you. Tell me about apartheid in Hebron. I want to learn. Anybody? Bueller? No?
Wait for Lynn.
What is the apartheid? Okay. So you don't know, but you're going to try to find it, right? What is the apartheid?
I know it exists, so trust me.
You know it exists?
Yeah, so just listen.
Okay.
Listen. Wait for the links, my goodness.
I don't want the links. I'm just talking to you.
Well, the links are a very strong thing, so we'll get the links and we'll talk about them.
Okay. He's talking about human rights, but I don't know what their authority is supposed to be. Israel has never been charged with it. Israel has never been on trial with it. This is just somebody saying that Israel has apartheid.
By the definition of what? Rohan, was that the definition of the United? Like, what was that? Where'd you get that?
I don't know. Because this is...
Guys, what the fuck? Get the definition yourselves, alright?
I'm in the car.
Denominate, I think, is the big thing. Like, they have bad intentions or something.
You gotta be some strong denial, boy, so...
Yeah, but I'm not gonna... I don't know, Norma, I don't know if you were here when we literally just went all over that. Push dominance.
Yeah,
No, just came up when you asked the questions. Of course not that.
the challenge we got was interpretations of law. And I said, well, the law of Israel does not apply outside of Israel, does it? For non-Israelis, of course. So I didn't get really past that. Then you said, I don't know, bad thing. Just let's talk about military law. So if you're a war with somebody...
No, we'll do it like this. Does the military law apply outside of Israel?
When you're at war, yes, obviously.
And then the Israeli civil law does apply outside of Israel.
Say it again. Yeah. Oh, makes sense, doesn't it?
Right. So saying that the law does not apply outside of Israel, both laws are still applying, or it just depends on who you are. But it is.
No, it depends on where you are.
Both laws still
right.
apply, even outside of Israel.
So Israeli citizens are subject to Israeli law in Israeli areas outside of Israel. And Palestinian law applies in Palestinian areas outside of Israel. That's normal. That's not apartheid or oppression. That's Oslo.
Israeli military
Yeah.
lies outside of Israel.
Okay, if you're at war, like I mentioned in Jenin, which is a terror camp, somebody who has been arrested for terrorism is subject to military law because of war. That's normal with any army, right?
Okay. So then what you're saying also, the Israeli civil law, right? Does that apply to people, Palestinians that have not been arrested for terrorism?
Of course not. Why would it?
All right, Penny, you sent the links in the chat.
Palestinian civil law applies to Palestinians who are in Palestinian areas who are not arrested, right?
Right. Penny, do you want to go over the links that you sent, or are you finding more links? Goodness gracious.
No, he can go through it himself. I don't like talking to her.
Okay.
I don't blame you. I'm a tough guy to
honestly, you literally interrupt, so it's like there's no point.
Oh, I didn't mean you to feel dread. That's not the way we talk.
Oh, trust me, I cannot be friends with your bitch ass. By the way, call your people. Listen, can I go call your peoples in Tel Aviv, matter of fact. Don't do that.
Let's do this.
What are you laughing about?
Oh, poor Norma. Norma, go call. Okay. Oh, they're fine, right? They're fine. I'm sure they're fine.
Norma, I apologize, but you gotta understand the situation.
I apologize for me.
Why don't we talk about one specific thing? So where are you going to find out? Where's your in Hebron? Tell me about the apartheid in Hebron. I want to hear.
Go link it
in the chat, Normal.
It's in the chat. But you don't know you didn't read the link you posted? So you can't express it or something? Did you read it? Which link do you want to look at?
I guess we'll go through all the links. So do you want to start with the first one?
Okay. Well, posted by Panda Bear or what? Okay, well, there's a lot. I'm counting from the bottom. How many up? 1, 2, 3, 4. The bottom one?
I see 3.
Yeah, counting from the bottom.
And revealed that today that they did that and they exploded all of their cannons, all of their launchers of their ballistic missiles that they prepared to launch on Israel after retaliation to an Israeli attack. So that's why it took them so long, because they couldn't shoot anything outside of Iran. They couldn't shoot anything proper, so they didn't.
Yeah, it really shows their infrastructure was decimated for 12 hours straight. It took them that long to recuperate, get people in place, new command units. I mean, any other military in the world would be able to immediately bounce back from something like that, but it took them 12 hours.
A few months ago, Israel has launched a strike on Iran. In that strike, Israel has eliminated their factories where they build those ballistic missiles, and Israel eliminated their anti-plane system, like all the radars and everything to shoot down planes. And Israel said, we prepared the ground for our bigger strike. And last night, Israel time, 3-2-3, whenever Israel started launching this attack on Iran, Israeli planes were flying across Tehran's skies with nobody bothering them, not a single missile being shot at them for quite a few hours.
Yeah, I've seen videos of like how slow their equipment is. I saw a Israeli jet flying away from an interceptor, and the missile is like half its speed.
Those are F-35s, though.
Yeah, the F-35, amazing technology.
Now they get all kinds of reports coming out.
Su-39 from the Soviet era stuff.
You know, the biggest issue and the biggest advantage Israeli Air Force has over the Iranian Air Force is even if the Russians actually did give them all those planes, you need to fly those planes for quite some time to know how to actually operate it in its best way. And the fact that they got those planes 6 months ago, 1 year ago from Russia, doesn't make them experts in how to use it. and all of those advantages that this thing should bring your army. While Israeli army, I think, the Israeli Air Force is known for its quality and
Well, unless they're flying 6th-gen Chinese jets, then we're good. Like, it's the Chinese jets that are up to par. Everything else is below par to the S-35 and S-47. F-47, I should say.
I just think that you can't compare the two. They rely on ballistic program, and this shit collapsed on their head. Israel has eliminated all of their commanders of their revolutionary guard of Iran, and the leadership of the army within the first 2 hours of this strike. And all of their nuclear program scientists, 20 of them, 15 of them.
Well, I'll say Donald Trump is trying to distance himself, and that's a question for me. How does he do that when we ourselves launched a strike that killed General Soleimani? We have taken part in this.
I think America is on board from the beginning, and it was all one big grand plan to make Iran really think and believe that there is no chance Israel or America or both of the countries are going to actually launch a strike on Iran in the coming time.
Did you not see his Twitter when he said something about 60 days? Well,
yesterday was the 61st day.
Yeah.
But it's not only that, Prime Minister Netanyahu's son was supposed to get married this Monday. If you ask me, he's already been married. And this was the whole thing was a part of the plan. Then, what's his name? The American guy that went to the Middle East, Witkoff, what is his name? He was supposed to come in and have a meeting with the Israeli leadership on Sunday. So, nobody saw that shit coming. Or at least that's what they wanted to tell the world. Then, yesterday, or 2 days ago, the biggest general in the Israeli army, there were reports when he told the Israeli leadership that Israel cannot do it on its own, that if the IDF is not capable of attacking Iran on its own, that we should either do it, we don't have the capabilities to do it, and we will have to have America with us. We can't do it alone. The next thing you know, Israel is doing that.
Yeah.
So
it's a part of the plan. America wants people to fall asleep and think, oh, okay, so America is not with Israel, like we thought. Israel is weaker, and that's it. But basically, there's a lot of things that's going on behind the scene. I think there is a big plan for Trump and Bibi. Something we don't know.
Okay, just Fox said two Navy, U.S. naval ships are in the Mediterranean already.
God bless America.
Yeah, so they get them aircraft carriers over there.
Yeah.
They've already been there. That's the thing. They've already been there.
You're right. I mean, we protect the Suez Canal year-round with an aircraft carriers.
Even the White House came out last night and said that they had full knowledge of Israel going to attack Iran.
I definitely knew because a week ago Donald Trump was in Camp David and he's like, we're meeting with all the generals will be there, the best people, the best generals. And I'm like, what are you meeting with the generals for in the middle of this LA riot stuff? That I don't see what the generals have to do with the riot. Something else is going on.
Donald Trump played a big part. He played a big part. He made them think that all these negotiations were gonna happen and shit. And there was supposed to be like a general that was supposed to go to Israel a couple days ago, and he ended up canceling his trip. So they knew about it way in advance, bro.
Yeah, when they go to Camp David, that's to me about military shit. That's not just like a regular camp. That's a serious place, a retreat for the president to go and meet world heads of state, etc., to lead war. But when he went there, I knew something.
Yeah. I think that this whole diversion tactics they did very well, and in the coming days you saw there was talks about cyber attack going through the Middle East, and talks about a reconnaissance U.S. reconnaissance aircraft flying over Iran. So yeah,
this was planned, man, and definitely in coordination with the United States. They're not gonna ever come out and say that.
Well, I know one thing that happened at the same time that when Tel Aviv launched or not Tel Aviv, but Israel launched their attack on Iran to destroy the thing, a lot of the Amazon Web Services shut down temporarily for about 35 minutes as that attack happened. So there's obviously, like you said, massive coordination that happened, not just like with the president, but I'm guessing even like on web services, probably to protect from cyber attack, like you just said. But they did. They shut down nearly 80% of the Amazon Web Services, which is most of the internet that you have, and paused it for like 35 minutes. DoorDash, credit cards. For 35 minutes, everything was down. But it's the middle of the night for us, so it didn't do too much. Not the middle of the night, toward the end of the night. I forget. But yeah, it was like the exact same time. So like you're saying, the coordination, there's definitely massive that happened. He was at Camp David. I just wonder what happens next. I doubt that Kamani, or how do you pronounce his name? I doubt he's even still in Iran.
No, he's for sure in Iran. And if you ask me if this thing is going to last long, and we're actually going to a full war with Iran, we're probably going to get him killed. Like, he's not going to stay in power indefinitely, because we're going to... Israel has stated already earlier today that if Iran is going to try and play actual big games with Israel, Israel is going to bomb their oil production facilities and make their whole economy collapse. They produce 10% of the world oil and gas. So they have the same, close to the same amounts as Russia has the international market. So they have a lot to lose. I don't think this guy is going to play the big game he's talking. He talks a big game, but he will take them down with him.
The attack of yesterday was planned right after the Second Lebanon War. It was planned. Like the beepers, same. It's been planned for
waiting for the right moment to do it. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, but they planned it since 2006.
They said that they were days away from obtaining nuclear weapons in Iran, so this is,
a week or two, yeah.
Yeah. Israel knew what they were doing.
The Mossad did a really good groundwork there also lately.
They did amazing work there. It's historical. Like, no other country in the world is going to do what Israel just did last night.
The problem is that the whole fucking world is afraid of Iran, knowing that if they get the nuke, they will be able to fuck everyone with it. Still, nobody's going to do anything.
Dude, not only did they not do anything, Dan, they fucking condemned Israel. Saudi Arabia came out and condemned Israel. They're the ones that are most afraid of Iran. And then they're gonna come out and condemn them for fucking protecting them? Like, it's the most disgusting shit I've seen. And all these countries are a bunch of pussies, man.
I think the Saudis intend to rule Iran once it does collapse, and they want to stay friendly with their people, pretend like they're gonna be this, distant arbiter that's disconnected from Israel, but they still have friendly relations.
Yeah, fuck them, honestly. Fuck them and fuck all the other countries that came out and condemned it. They're a bunch of fucking hypocrites. And Israel just did the world a big favor. So.
The biggest favor in the past, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years, I don't know.
Yeah, they need to be taking Israel.
To work from something very bad. Not to mention Iranian missiles. A majority of European cities are within the Iranian missiles range. So.
Yeah, and a nuke is not just dangerous on a missile, it's dangerous in any way. If they take it and muddle it into a country nearby, it's just as dangerous.
Definitely. They did the Middle East a fucking big favor, and these fucking Arabs better be fucking thanking Israel one day, instead of condemning them today. Like, it's the most stupid shit I've ever seen. I really don't understand it.
Last night, Jordan helped Israel intercept the explosive drones. They sent like 150 drones from Iran towards Israel, and Jordan Air Force was actively shooting them down alongside Israel. So they know exactly whose side they should take, and they're actively doing it, showing it to everyone. So yeah, Saudi or whoever else can come and condemn Israel's actions, but once shit's gonna go down, people are not gonna stick stick to Iran, especially not after what happened last night.
Well, you know, the
How they
Saudis,
collapsed.
the Saudis is another big one. Like you were saying a minute ago, that when it comes to Iran and terror attacks, Saudi Arabia is the one that gets the most terror attacks out of anybody else. They're the ones that get attacked more by Iran than all the rest of us by proxies. So it's like they should be involved. They are the ones that were also at threat of a nuclear attack. Not just Israel. They also want to destroy the Saudi.
That's why I was shocked to see that they condemned Israel for doing that. I mean, I was shocked, but at the same time, I wasn't shocked, you know, because they wanna keep the rhetoric that Israel is the genociders, that they go and they attack people and kill innocent babies and women and children and blah 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 blah. They can't go against the narrative, right? It make them look stupid. And then the whole world will come out and say that Saudi are simps for Zionists. That's what they'll say. You know? They're Zionist sympathizers. It's all bullshit tactics. You know, behind doors, the prince of fucking Saudis calling that together. Thank you so much. Whatever, you want free oil, we'll give you free oil. Thank you. You know?
100% right.
Bunch of fucking hypocrites.
1000% correct. Saudi is celebrating since last night.
Of course, man. Of
They're
course.
the largest celebrating. I guarantee it. They're the most at threat, second to Israel. It goes
Not
Israel,
only
Saudi
that,
Arabia.
they will now sell double the amount of oil they usually do because Israel is gonna fuck Iran.
The funny thing is that even in Iran itself, there's so many people who are celebrating.
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm exhausted. I feel like animal.
Well, no, like what you said about them celebrating in Iran. I remember the video of Soleimani when he was killed. That guy ran up with the camera and he's pointing it at the car and he's going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it! They finally did it. They killed this dog." And it's one of the people of Iran looking at Soleimani's dog.
So after working last night, they were celebrating in the streets. A lot of people were celebrating.
Yeah,
They go
a
a lot of
dog.
Iranian people coming here to our room and telling us, "Thank you so much. We're so happy." You know, all day, like since morning, they just don't stop coming to our rooms and thanking us. It's crazy. But what's up again? Yeah, I'm sitting. לא יודעת, לא זוכרת.
איזה חוף, משהו יפה, איזה חמוד.
כן, זה באשדוד.
חמוד. איזה הזיה.
כן,
תהיו בריאים. איזה יופי. הייתי שמח בחיים עכשיו להסתכל על זה.
תודה.
פתאום מופיע, ואמא שלי פתאום מופיע לי את התמונה שלך.
Rapper, you're out of the shelter?
Yeah, I'm in my living room now. My parents. It was the first wave was a shitty wave, you know. Others were great, but the first one was the falling and stuff, and it was very close. So we heard it like very, very close. But I'm waiting for the Iranian people. I always say Iranian are losers. They were born losers, and I hope they don't die losers. It's about time they realized we did half of the job, and now it's their turn to make the other half. But you don't see anything, you know. Go and fight, take guns, and kill some IRGC. Nothing.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. You know that.
I love that he's chilling on his couch and he's just like telling the people of Iran, you know, go do it, go finish the job, you motherfuckers. Like badass shit. I love it. We did half the job. We blew him the fuck up. It's your turn. That's exactly fucking right.
The thing is, I've been saying this for the last 24 hours now. Israel gave them the sword to go ahead and cut the fucking head off of the snake, of the dragon, whatever you want to call it, and I don't think they're gonna do it, bro. I really don't think so. I don't see it happening.
They're pussies. They're pussies.
Exactly.
They're not gonna try. Maul just got tired of them whenever they come to our room now. So he gets angry and say, "Go, you do. What do we need to do the job for you? You fucking motherfuckers. You go and do it yourself. Just live us
The problem is that we keep expecting the people of the Middle East, the Muslim people, to rule themselves. They have always had an occupation that ruled upon them, an empire that ruled upon them. And that's what the IRGC currently is that imperial force that rules upon them. And that's what they want. They desire it. So that's what they need. The problem is we don't want to offer it, so it's impossible. I'm not sure what the solution actually is.
יש פה ישראלים, אז הם באים, אתה מבין? כמה שנים כבר אנחנו שומעים את הדברים האלה, האיראנים הפרסים. לא יכול לספור אותם. אני אומר, תקשיב, בוא נעשה כאילו בעלייה לרגל, כולה מה שקרה. אני אומר, תקשיב, יש לי רעיון מדהים. נפתח, אתה רוצה צחוקים? נפתח חדר, נרשום ישראל versus איראן, one at a time. ביניהם כולנו צריכים את הרבן, וכל פעם נעלי רק אחד, אחי. ויותר מזה, נהרוס לו את הראש
אתה רוצה להטריל אותה עם הכותרת?
תטריל, תעשה מה זה.
אפשר לעשות איזה כותרת של...
רק תעשו לי טובה שלא יעשו כל חדר אמריקאי שמדברים, אין לי כבר כוח לזה. לא, אני לא מבין. לא, אני חושב אתה מבין מה הם עושים, הם באים מתחילים לדבר איתך על פוליטיקה. פוליטיקה אמריקאי, הם מרגישים בנוח, להתחיל לדבר על סדרות, פוליטיקה וסקס, פוליטיקה אמריקאית, כל מיני דברים כאלה. זה לא רק בעיה. לכו לחדר אחר, תעשו את זה. כאילו, לא היום.
שוברים את השיניים, גם לילה, מאוחר, די, אין לנו כבר.
אתה יודע, לא בא לנו כל היום לדבר אנגלית, אנחנו כל היום פה מדברים אנגלית. פוסקים השלם אמריקאים. 10 שנים כל היום מדברים. רק דניקוס, הוא הכי נורמלי פה. רק לדניקוס. ודוידה.
דני וג'יין.
היי דוידה.
Hello everyone.
What about me?
לא כוס אמא שלי.
אתה בסדר.
Harry, you understand more. I do, okay? I'm trying my best. I'm doing my Duolingo with my penciler courses, okay? So I understand just a little bit, not a lot. Penciler?
I understand the nouns. Pretty much nothing else.
Penciler, yeah.
Eitan teaches Hebrew classes on here. Is he here?
Eitan also teaches to be a lefty. That's also what he did. To make peace with Palestinian.
Fuck that.
Ani Ketza Ifrit. That's all I know right now for the moment.
I can teach you something. Say, אני אוהבת בולבול גדול.
Very funny. No, I'm not saying that. אני אוהבת אותך Israel.
You can say אני אוהבת ישראל.
Oh, I'm not gonna say the bulbul one because I already know. Bulbul gadol, strong penis. What?
No, חזק is strong.
Gadol is big.
המתקפה, וואי תסתרו כבר, המתקפה הבאה הולכת להיות גם עם המון טילים והם הולכים להיות מכוונים בצורה מדויקת לדימונה ולקריה. שמע ישראל.
Two were seriously injured among 20.
יש לו חודים ברמת גן.
איפה זה מפגע ברמת גן?
אני לא יודע.
אתה יודע איפה? אני יודע איפה זה פגע
אתה לא צריך לזהות. תל אביב אני יודע, אבל אני לא צריך לזהות ברמת גן.
אתה יודע איפה זה בתל אביב?
כן, תל אביב.
ליד הבית שלך.
לא, אבל אני אגיד לך בדיוק.
כיכר רבין.
לא.
צייטלי.
לא, 2 מגדלים, פגע במגדל.
פגע במגדל? איזה מגדל?
אולי איפה שזאתי גם.
זה היה איטלקי. אל תגיד את זה.
אוקיי, הבנתי.
אתה יודע מה? אתה מכיר את השניים האלה אחד ליד השני?
כן, וואלה. האמת זה ממש קרוב לתמונות. האמת זה, כן, זה לא היה הגיוני לפי התמונות.
מה זה קטע? כמעט קטע בבניין הזה פעם, שזה היה בנייר, ולא היה לי כסף. בדמיונות שלי רציתי לקנות דירה בבניין הזה.
אז אתה פגעת בבניין עצמו?
פגע בבניין? לא, לדעתי זה ליד.
לא, בבניין, אני שואל לך עכשיו סיפור, חכה.
ברמת גן אני לא יודע איפה. אני לא מזהה את המקום. מה שם יש לפרודים, זה מגדל.
גם ברמת גן?
ברמת גן, במגדל ברמת גן יש לפרודים. כן, אני חושב במקומות פה זה מגדל. אז במקומות הגבוהות אני אתגיעו.
It's crazy. There's a Democratic senator in America that's calling for the U.S. to give Israel anything it needs in support of its assault against Iran.
Is that Senator Fetterman?
Yeah, it's crazy that he's a Democrat thing.
Fetterman's the only logical one. Harry, you have anyone today in the, I would say, the leadership of America who have any sympathy to Iran?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
ראיתי את הוידאו הזה, הוידאו הזה זה רמת גן, אבל זה לא... שנייה, הוידאו הזה זה רמת גן, זה לא תל אביב. אתה טועה? זה איפה שיש לחודים עכשיו ברמת גן, זה הבניין הזה.
כן?
כן, זה לא רמת גן.
אוקיי, אז אני יודע איפה זה בסדר, לא, כי מישהי שלחה לי ועכשיו זה מסתדר לי, נכון?
Did something hit in Ramat Gan?
Yes.
Is that the building you were talking about before?
That's right. People
people are trapped.
Two severely injured. Out of point.
And a woman.
What do they mean by severely injured, though? Like, how bad is the injuries? Do you know?
I don't know. No. They say, in Hebrew, they say, I'm not sure I trust it.
Critical?
קשה.
No.
אומרים קשה.
Cause it's like easy.
No. Easy?
Critical is they're going to die.
I don't know what's like the... It's the third level. קל, בינוני, קשה.
יש לו
critical.
Critical.
Yeah, that sounds like there's
Critical's the worst. Yeah, critical זה אנוש.
How do we triage? Are we learning?
What?
Triage. Triage?
Why don't it say that?
What about triage an emergency room, right?
That's how they sort people.
איתן כאן. איך תעשה את איתן?
Call me.
You see, I say the name and they come. That's what happens. I do magic.
Who comes?
I mentioned you, Eitan.
איתן, יש פה אנשים שרוצים ללמוד עברית, אז...
The hard, seriously injured. This is how it's called in the US.
Serious is before critical.
Alright, so serious is not necessarily life-threatening, but treatable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like broken legs, broken arms, broken bone.
So people in my village WhatsApp group, they're asking if the windows are smashed because they're worried about their cats.
But what about when you were
Maybe
young?
not talk about locations or something.
No, not where the bombs landed. I think they. But at this point, if everybody's hearing it, it's already on the news.
Okay, because I heard someone say to avoid something or talk about something.
Oh yeah.
אחד המאשרים שיש לכלוך רדיואקטיבי איפה שהורדנו.
תגיד באנגלית.
רגע, ראיתי, ניקולוס I will understand. רגע, מה אמרת?
The IDF confirms that it was the nuclear site where we bombed. Radioactive.
There's nuclear waste in the area. Saba confirmed it, not the IDF.
Oh, sorry.
אבל זה שם, אני לא מבינה על מה אתה מדבר.
סוכנות האנרגיה האטומית הבינלאומית,
נו.
אז הם אישרו שיש לכלוך רדיואקטיבי באזור שם.
איזה אזור?
באחד מהמתקנים שפגענו בהם.
באיראן. אוקיי. אנחנו מדברים על נפילות פה בארץ, פתאום אומרים את זה, חשבתי שאולי באחד הנפילות האלה.
כאן ההעשרה הגרעינית שפגענו באיראן, יש לכלוך רדיואקטיבי.
אוקיי.
יש אינדיקציות לכלוך רדיואקטיבי.
היי חברים. מה שברה?
רגע, ששלחתי? ג'לו, מה נשמע אותך? ג'לו.
איפה, אינסטגרם?
כן.
למה הם צורכים פה משוגעים מאחורה?
Rate me on a scale from 1 to 10, but first, take a
זה
good
הצרחה
look.
רצינית שם.
Why 3?
נכון. אבל תגידו, אני רוצה לראות איך תגיב. בלייב. זה כזה טוב. חנה.
Lee.
כן.
Holy shit.
What?
What the hell was that yelling? Is that somebody yelling who's making the video?
It's not yelling, it's moaning. Moaning?
Oh my god. Yeah.
Moaning.
אבל אני לא מבינה את זה, הוא לא מבינים אותך.
It looks like July 4th. It's freezing.
חנה, ראית סרטון?
Originally, in the first script, we didn't have any dialogue because he was an animated character, so we had to change it. But then we rewrote the script and we had quite a bit of dialogue for explanatory reasons. And so we used a real actor, we used Neil McCartney, who had a very strong face as a basis, and Colin Arthur was makeup on him to make him look like a small character that was animated. It was very important that there was an alteration between the animated character and the
What he's saying is that, like, if they're coming in,
action was the animated character, so that you actually saw this animated character with a tail and a cloven hoof.
I asked you, are you still seeing the,
And that was quite a difficult
are you
scene
still seeing things flying
to
over
match
where you are?
every frame, so that it looked like they were struggling in the smoke.
Missiles on Israel. I will not see anything.
Yeah, I have both Iran and Israel feed up at the same time. I'm trying to watch both countries. I'm expecting that Israel probably will retaliate. I don't see why they would.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even start yet. Let me tell you that.
Oh no, it's just the beginning of the operation. They're about to find out. It's FAFO.
Oh, yeah.
Iran today in the morning they said that they're going to announce that this is a war. They didn't do it yet.
Like World War III or war Iran on Israel like it hasn't been?
Israel, Iran, I don't know, just a war.
Didn't it start on October 7th?
I was wondering if this war starts, does this count as World War III, or do we need one more participant country? Like, or is it it?
No, it's not going to be World War III.
If it's only Israel and Iran, no, but I'm sure that there's going to be a bigger mess.
Like what?
So
who do you think's going to get involved?
More countries, more countries. Arab countries, then they will go against each other and then against us, and it's going to be a mess. This is going to be a third world.
בצה"ל בשני המדחים שגרו מאיראן פחות מ100 טילים ורובם יורטו.
I mean, it's Pakistan, India, Iran, Israel, Ukraine, Russia. I'm not sure. I mean, that's a large warfront line that goes from north to south.
A lot more
Wait, come, say it again?
India, Pakistan, Israel, Iran, Russia, Ukraine. So that's a line that goes 1,000 miles south, just a warfront.
There's much more than
Keeps
that.
people busy, just a lot of nuclear weapons involved in this thing, so. Or nuclear warheads at least.
If it's not World War III, then if World War III does happen, this will be the beginning of World War III. So it determines if we have it or not. Is this it?
Australia, New Zealand.
There is much more wars in the world going on right now that you're not aware of. In Africa, there's so many, and
You're right. Those are just conflict. I mean, between like the Axis powers and NATO allies.
Well, Israel Palestine is also a conflict, but became a war. So everything can happen. I believe that this is the beginning of the third war. Definitely. Mark my words.
Yeah, I think once China and the U.S. get involved, that's it. That's determination at that point.
I live on an island. Bad thing. I live on an island, and it's fine.
שמתי במקרה כשאתה רוצה להיות באוזניים, ופתאום נהיה לי כזה, לא שמעתי את הסביבה שלי, אז חשבתי שהלך לי החשמל. זה מבלבל אותך. כמה אני יודעת, מי עשה?
לא שתית, אורליה.
מים.
שאתה וויסקי.
יותר מדי.
לא שתיתי כלום היום. איפה מאור? איפה אמנון?
איך זה לראות את זה מרחוק?
מה, ראיתי את זה בשמיים, אתה יודע. רואים את זה כאן.
מה הוא אמר? סימס לי שראית את זה.
כן, אחי, ראיתי את זה להיות מחצים בשמיים. תראה, בוא, אני אגיד את זה מאוד קל, כן? בפעם הקודמת שהם יראו, אני יודע באפריל, זה היה, הייתי באיזה מקום על החוף, עם חברים, וראינו את הטילים האלה יורדים לכיוון ישראל.
What up, James?
ואז אחרי כמה דקות, פתאום אני רואה...
They're the ones that are funding, and they're the ones that are telling Qatar to go fund their Hamas.
I'm talking about Hezbollah.
Yeah, no, I don't think they want a regime change in Iran, because so long as that regime is there, it convinces, they use it to convince the Saudis to together, or whatever the fuck. They use it as like the boogeyman in the area.
Yes, right? It's a good argument, but I think they would be pushing for like a sort of collapse of that regime at least. Yeah, in the same sense they did it to Saddam. Saddam
was a genuine threat.
Saddam was not a genuine threat.
Yes, he was.
I don't think Iran is a genuine threat to the Arabs in general, but no, I do generally believe.
No, to Israel, not to the Arabs.
No, yeah, to the Israelis, they are also a threat to some extent, not as much as Saddam. But nevertheless, they want to see a collapse of that state, which they see is actually highly, in some sense, in contrast to many of the Arab countries, actually doing something, like in terms of nuclear energy, in terms of science, in terms of weapon, making weapons and whatnot.
Yeah, but they don't want an actual regime change. They just want the regime to be
want a regime. They made it very clear to America multiple times that yes, we want a regime change in Iran. They want.
I don't believe it.
And they wanted, but Adam, they also wanted to happen through like in a certain destructive way. They basically they would appreciate a civil war happening in Iran, or essentially appreciate the minorities seeking independence from Iran, especially the ones in Ahwaz, for example, the Arabs and whatnot, or the Azeris, because those areas are very, very rich in resources and contain some of the important nuclear sites for Iran. So these are things that Israel would kind of dream about, because that would mean weakening Iran to a great extent that they would just forget about trying to rival Israel or trying to develop weapons and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but then you lose your bookie, man. How do you get if the Khaliji's on your side?
Because the U.S. keeps them in line, but the Khalijis need America far more than America needs them.
Yeah, that's true, but the Khalijis won't need America as much without an Iraq there.
Yes, but regardless, the fact is, if you get rid of Iran,
Saudi Arabia says, oh, we want to make war with jihad, or make a jihad against Israel.
Well, no, I'm not saying that they're going to go to that extent, but they're going to be more independent. They're not going to need to spend as much on the military. They can spend more on developing their own infrastructure. This is all bad for Israel.
Yeah, but as long as they just develop infrastructure, right?
I'm talking about like nuclear infrastructure as well.
Oh, okay, I mean, yes, but if that were the case, it would probably be just, I mean, this is really Israel's end goal. This is the only way it can survive. Regime change after regime change after regime change. So, the real question with Israel, how long is the American public willing to fund regime change after regime change after regime change? Are they willing to do it forever? I say probably not.
I think they have 2 more generations at the most.
Maybe even this whole extreme reaction. It's not really anything on the Iranian side is extreme. They're not really going to do much more than they've always done. It's the Israeli reaction that's extreme, because they feel that their time is ticking. That the days of America supporting regime change after regime change might soon be numbered, if even they already.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I still think that they want to keep the Iranian regime in charge. They just want them severely beaten. Right? So not be able to do certain things, but still be around to at least pretend to be a threat to the Gulf, like Tunisia.
They'll just create another threat.
They'll create another.
The thing is too.
What's the other one? Sure, Ahmed al-Shari'ani. I mean, yeah, maybe Turkey, but Turkey is harder to create a threat out of because they're a NATO country.
They're a NATO,
The thing is too, the reason why Israel's not going full-out war and destroying the.
A venda é a fórmula para fazer um relacionamento, tá certo? Eu acho que tem.
As black people.
Oh, shit.
You know, what
Are we gonna take another 400?
simply, created a situation of warfare where you are literally violating these people's civil rights.
Not too many skunks on the app.
Sure.
Oh shit, I know. Don't tell me out here.
When you started talking, we were like, oh my god, turn your music, Michael.
Thank you.
Yeah, she started shouting to you.
Go off, I'm such an idiot.
מקצועית.
SDR? אותי? אני אפילו לא יודעת מה זה SDR, סורי על המהות. כן, אתה דיברת עליי, לא?
לא, דיבר על ג'יילו. למה אתה עובד עם שוק אמריקאי?
לא.
יש לך אומץ, יש לנו חלויות על אמריקה. רוס, מה קרה?
שזה לשחק,
בגלל שהייתי קונגרזן אתה רוצה לשחק? 10:52 בלילה כפרה? מה השיגעון? A friendship that woke up and wants to play, doesn't care about anything. Up until not too long ago, when we had 2 dogs, I don't know if already in Israel, but moving back, and he's cold as fuck on his own. יש 2 כלבים. אחד מהם כבר המשיך חזרה בארץ.
זרקס? לא זרקס, איך קוראים לו?
לא, יש לי ארוס ויש לי צ'ופי. זוס אצל יניב, שותף שלי שעבר בעסקים, יחד עם אף של אפילפסיה, אי אפשר להפריד ביניהם, קשה מאוד. ויניב ואני לא מדברים יותר.
די.
כן.
הלם.
היו צרות יותר גדולות, לא ראית שנפלו טילים מקודם תל אביב?
לא, פספסתי.
רגע.
Dan, I sent you a message.
Yeah, I'm just
just clicked hit message, so it opened it. Love for sure.
So, Jada, just so you know, you sound very professional.
You would be shocked. You'd be shocked to hear me at my job.
What do you do, bro?
Give us a name.
Show us your voice. Give us the example.
I can't. I can't give myself away.
No, I'm not saying what you do. I'm just saying, you know how we have to put on that other voice?
Said, hey, how are you doing today? Thanks for giving me a call. I was looking over your profile and I thought, you look like a really professional person. I'm just paraphrasing here, so I don't give away.
No, don't talk to me.
So yeah, do you have a little bit of time today to get on a phone call? We can, talk a little bit more and, yeah, not a problem. How's it going? Oh yeah.
You selling insurance?
I do that when I go to conferences. I wear a different personality.
You have to.
Yeah, oh yeah. I go to conferences, as soon as I'm about to walk in, just like in my profile photo, I put the hat back and I high five my business partner. I'm like, okay, let's get it on, and that's it.
I was saying the mayor of my town, I know him personally. Like we were playing, we had a poker game at the shul, and I sat next to him.
Game at the shul.
Yeah, well, it's for charity. So this guy comes over. And says, "Excuse me, are you the mayor?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I have a complaint." I go, "Oh shit, the guy's trying to play cards." He goes, "Yeah, how can I help you? I am the mayor." He goes, "Well, during the Sandy storm, I had no electricity." So the mayor whispers in my ear. He goes, "What does he think? I'm God? I didn't have electricity either." Right? But he has such a different voice in person, and then you see him on TV giving his mayor speeches, and he sounds like J.F. Kennedy. He's like, "Oh, welcome today." I'm like, wait, that's not the voice I play cards with.
Yeah, it's a completely different person.
Yeah.
Oh,
Does he come in shorts?
To play cards?
Yeah.
Does he come in shorts? You said?
Yeah.
No, he actually.
Anywhere. When he personal life.
Yes, but on TV he looks like he's a professional politician.
Alright, that's fair enough.
But even a different voice. It's like you're not talking to the same person. I'm like, wait, he's like human when I speak to him, and now he's
This formal politician that has to speak in a certain way.
Yeah, certain voice. You're right.
Hey, take what I don't know.
If you go to the hood, they will say, "Oh, you're speaking like a white person."
Yeah. Oh, that just happened in another room. I was fighting with two Arab guys, and a few minutes ago in another room, and they were like, "You're so white. Do you want to suck my toes?" And I said, "No, go on Google and you can Google suck my toes and go pay for it, motherfucker."
What the fuck?
One lady got in critical condition on their way to the hospital, medicine hospital. They're fighting for her life. One lady got injured in critical condition.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there was one building that got hit, and there were people that the thing collapsed on the 10th-story building. And they don't say. Well, they do say where it is. Give me a second. But this building partially collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
So they have people trapped in under the wreckage.
I don't want to say the city I think that it's in, but I think it's the same city that we saw the other damage in. We saw three missiles come down there.
Yeah. It's that area for sure.
It's our area. It's where he lives. I mean, not this specific place.
I say if you can just share his location in the chat.
No, I'm just saying this is his city.
J-Lo.
The city is from.
The problem and the solution once again.
So I'm going to say
just like the terrorists.
Hold on, Finley. Hold on. So I'm going to say this. So I don't know if you guys have seen the news, but this one's amazing me that people that haven't did it. In Houston, or well, in Texas in general, they just arrested like 205 fucking guys
sex trafficking string, right? And so this is looking at the stats of this. So they caught these guys, right? Now there was protest against in some of these places of the arrest, like people saying, "Oh no, you can't do that because people can't distinguish FBI and fucking all these other agencies from ICE, and they don't know what the fuck is going on." But they did this in Houston. It's one of the largest sting operations ever, and they caught it. And there's going to be some jail time, and there's more people to get arrested from it. Hats off to the men and women who worked that case. Now, what's ironic is there was 108 kids saved. 108 kids saved. Out of those kids, a large percentage were, guess what? Smuggled across the fucking border. So these kids were used as sex toys while your bleeding heart is like, oh, the poor kid in the court had to go through a translator with headphones on. I'm going to say, yeah, there's still about 300,000 kids missing in this fucking country that we're aware of were smuggled over the border. And we're still trying to find them. We've got 108. You care, like, how else do you want the courts, people that want to deal with this? The kid had a translator on. The judge was talking through it. He had headphones on so that he could speak to the translator and understand what was being communicated back. And the kids do have to answer questions because, unfortunately, and this is going to, case in point, we have a problem in this country where we have degenerates that are allowed to go out there and purchase a fucking child from across the border as if they're ordering a burrito from fucking Taco Bell.
We're on the same team, Brad. I just want to say, yeah, we're on the same team, baby. I hear you because the two things can be right at the same time. In this case, we're on the same team. You know.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, my heart ain't bleeding for criminals, right? I'm talking about workers. I was talking about workers.
Exactly.
I'm also talking about families. Like, I understand that there's child traffickers, and I'm not talking about them. I'm making a distinction, right? The target, which it should be, violent freaking criminals, which includes a trafficker is a violent criminal. But if you are going to people's work sites where they are working and round them up for work, like, them people ain't criminals. Criminals ain't going to work. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna use the same appeal to emotion that you did, Brad, against you. Ready?
Hold on.
Doing this in a joking manner.
How do you know what those people are at Home Depot with their run? Because the ones that did get rounded up, you'd actually be surprised. Because guess what? That actually helped him to finding out where these kids were. So that's where you're like, I'm sitting here laughing at this because those tips and those arrests are actually leading to further charges.
Exactly.
So like, where do you think these ones? Like, you're going down that street.
Remember, this administration is hiding sex traffickers because of the Epstein list. So the bleeding heart that the Republicans have about catching these sex traffickers and child traffickers are not applying the same logic when they're talking about their president in chief. Circular reasoning. Like, no one here would ever be in the defense of, well, actually,
okay, so let's talk the Epstein list. So let's talk about it. You had an administration that wanted to fucking use the RICO Act in Georgia that made
Should we go back to Brad? They kicked me from the Israeli room. It's kind of funny. It's like I'm hated by everybody.
YouTube or anything like that, because that would be like.
That's not YouTube. That'd be no. To be honest, I don't like gay. Like, well, anyway, like I prefer like informally, like, but he's come here to talk to you about the thing.
This guy.
Even in your room, like, it doesn't matter. Really.
Yeah, I'm down to have like a more low key thing, or just talk about it.
Yeah. No, generally, generally I don't see competent sort of people have the discussion. So I'll probably have to wait.
Yeah, me neither. It's usually like MFA.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're like usually bringing up these under-determination.
This is true. Wait, where's Andrew? Oh fuck, look at him running. Oh wait, no, free me! Free me, that's my feeling! It's so mean! So mean, free him!
When I joined the high-end HBD Discord, I was like, yo, I need like a one-page document that just like has all the citations, all the information, all the like, and they were like, oh yeah, we got you, bro. And they just sent me, so I'm now like, I'm already, boys.
He's armed with population genetics.
What is the set, like, if you could boil down the thesis to, like, a single proposition?
Okay, you ready? Here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
He was asking me.
Science, bitch.
I'm big on numbers. So
I wish it was big on your phone reception.
Now would be like a good time to have the burner account or the
Israel has been
anonymous.
killing Palestinians for decades upon decades. Oh, whatever. And then, Hamas was created because of the killing of Palestinians by Israelis. So, oh well. I mean, I don't know what you understand. It's so
I'm gonna try to get
one-sided. It absolutely was.
With no friends and in anonymous mode.
And what, Jews haven't been killing non-Jews? What are you talking about? Jihadists, let's talk about what's happening in Israel and Palestine. Let's be for real.
Voice never works.
Let's be for real. Even when freaking Spain didn't even want y'all asses there, Muslims didn't even kick y'all out of freaking Andalus. Okay, let's be for real. Okay? Some people have actually shown a bit of mercy. Jews would not be worshiping in Jerusalem if it wasn't for the Treaty of Omar, which was a Muslim. Let's be for real. Y'all was getting persecuted by Christians and Persians. Be for real. Be for real. Go look at it. Jews used to get persecuted in Jerusalem. They couldn't worship anything. They couldn't worship their religion freely. They're only able to do that based on the Treaty of Omar. Muslims were a minority, but they took over Andalusia. Andalus before. Before the Reconquista. So.
Google
if they
voice
were
number,
minority,
voicemail
then
worked.
they took it
Wow.
over. That's so what? And Jews and Muslims were not kicked out at the same time. Jews were definitely kicked out. Muslims were forced more south. Eventually.
Oh, let's set up an AOL.
Just go and check out the, go and check out the history.
Your Google voicemail number.
I'm not trying to be nobody's apologist, jihadist. Sometimes we're friends, sometimes we're what's happening right now? Let's be for real. So, come on, just stop with all of what you're talking about. Because, see, you guys brought up these points, and now I'm bringing up these points. Now all of a sudden, no, so okay, so what are we talking about? We're talking to keep it on Israel and Palestine then. So, because then y'all don't have no nothing. Not by you guys, one. Wow, jihadist is an idiot.
Okay, here we go, Chris. 355 358 355 358. We're gonna call this account anonymous. Is that a good name? What should we think? What do you want to call it? Anonymous mode.
Palestinian people were created in 1970. It's crazy.
No, you didn't. the 20s. Okay, since they were created in the 70s.
It's scary because, like, I just wondered, like, if I were, you know, Israeli, an Israeli citizen, would I be so brainwashed to, like, not see reality?
Listen, I understand it because, you know, there are quite a few Jewish people that, like, have absolutely spoke out and was like, listen, I definitely was brainwashed, especially when you have, like, you know, a culture that, you know, you remember it's like a requirement. They go back to Israel. They call it birthright. You know what I mean? Imagine you call in certain things like, you know, a trip back to the, you know, this land, you know what I mean? You know, birthright. It's your birthright. Like imagine like the crap that they have you know have been things that have been drilled in their head for years upon years upon years. It's like it's like I see why. Like you know literally brainwash the crap out of that. A lot of people have actually had been brainwashed. It's fair. And look at this. You can literally shove so much crap in their face and show them. You know what I mean? That this is what happens. Palestinians were created in the 1970s. Huh?
Someone arguing.
Imagine how like that is so ridiculously inaccurate and so easy to just know that you can't even. It's like how could you even say something that stupid?
Okay, we're in Amir's house now, in anonymous mode.
He asked my opinion, and I told him my opinion.
Oh, thank you for sharing. I don't know, because if Russia joins and if any of these you know nations join, America would be finished. You know why? Because Russia has 4,400 warheads, Sapien.
So the secret is not to look at their profiles, otherwise they can see your profile. I fucked that up last time. So this time, remind myself. Never get interested in somebody and look at their fucking profile, because they will figure out it's fake. So we're gonna create a new room. It's called Amir.
And their equipment is cheaper than American equipment. So the defense system that Russia supplies, I looked into it, it was about 800 million. Versus America, the TAT system that they gave to Israel, it costed the taxpayers almost $1.2 billion. Plus extra for training and a whole bunch of other shit to Israel. You see what I'm saying? So it's crazy.
But what's the likelihood of Russia doing that though? Like they're not going to launch a bunch
So
of America. That would be a side mission.
They don't have to launch new. I'm saying if they were to supply them weapons, including China.
And I'm gonna take a photo of his room. It's gonna trip him out. It's gonna be a photo of the room.
Recent attack. India used the France airplane, the fighter jets, to attack Pakistan, and Pakistan used J-16 Chinese jets or whatever to shoot them down. You see what I'm saying? So their technology is a little bit behind. American technology and the France and European technology is kind of behind. And China can mass produce just like Russia can. So if they were to give them weapons, I think that would be the problematic for America.
But I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't know.
It's looking like it might turn into World War III. If it does, we're going to have a recession. And Iran will attack the oil reserves. That's going to, you know, the oil prices that we pay in America. What is it, like $4 right now? $4.50 per gallon. In California, it's going to go up to about $10, I think, or $8 per gallon.
Ooh, child. I'm going to start walking then.
Just buy yourself an electric scooter. And even because of the tariffs, the prices are going to go up on the electric scooters as well. Because of the stupid tariffs that, you know, Trump has implemented. But, you know, you're a Kamala supporter. Point, he's a Kamala supporter. Sapien is a Kamala supporter.
Yes, I am.
Do you you know, Kamala, I think it's going to said yesterday is because of the Gaza war. That's why Kamala did not win.
That's definitely why. That's definitely not why she didn't win.
Yeah, that's why. Point
It has to, like, literally, and this is gonna sound so simplistic, but the Democrats lost because of the overly woke agenda, the overly politically correct language, the talking down to men. I mean, in their immigration policy, I mean, Americans back in the election, I mean, Palestine and what was going on wasn't a major factor in people's decision because most Americans are apathetic to what goes on in the Middle East. I mean, of course, you have, like, you know, college students and, you know, some that are, you know, protesting or whatever, but the vast majority of Americans, I mean, it's not on the top of the list. So I definitely don't think Gaza is why Kamala lost.
I think because of Gaza, I think there's a big chance. I mean, I would have voted for Kamala even if she would have done like 5 days, 10 days ceasefire. It would have showed the pro-pallies all around America that she has the balls to do this.
Nicole bite me. Sorry, this girl Nicole was talking shit in the chat.
So, you know, that's the thing, and it did play a role, man, because who wants to kill babies?
Look at what they got with Trump. Trump got elected, and then Israel was still killing babies. Like,
I did not vote for Trump.
I know, but you have to, like, look at the lesser of two evils. That's what presidential elections are. People don't like to acknowledge that.
Have you punished? Okay, let me ask you this: how would they have punished Kamala?
How would they have? What do you mean? Who?
Okay, Kamala, she was a vice president. You agree?
Yeah.
The top 4 positions, you know, in the Congress, one of them is vice president above Secretary of State, right? So she could have influenced.
This guy is streaming your room.
Who?
The what's his name? That Dodge comedy guy must be
must be the anonymous guy. Okay.
Remove him.
Got your ass, bitch. Can't do shit, bitch.
Clubhouse Plus.
Got your ass, bitch.
Amir, you're absolutely right, brother. I actually wanted to vote for Kamala Harris because I think the day before the election, one of my uncles called me. He said, "Listen, you gotta vote for Kamala. You know, you have a health condition, and Democrats are better, like when it comes to health law and this stuff. Vote for Kamala Harris because Republicans and Trump might get rid of your health benefits, right?" Wallahi, bro, I kind of wish 8 months ago that I voted for Kamala Harris. I voted for third party. Not, like, literally, I voted for Jill Stein. Like, when I look back, I would have definitely voted for Kamala Harris. But that Gaza thing just was like, you know what, I cannot vote for her because if I do, I am the one that's going to be responsible for the actions that she takes.
Well, you're responsible for what's happened ever since Trump got elected. Congratulations.
I did not vote for Trump, but
you essentially did.
Why are you screaming?
By voting for your party, you essentially helped Trump get elected. Like, that's what this is why I don't like this whole vote third party thing is so stupid.
I agree with you, bro. Next year, we have an election in Michigan. I'm voting for the Democratic candidate. They haven't declared it yet, but I'm definitely voting for Democrat. Also, Detroit might have a new mayor. I mean, if it's Democrat or whatever, I'm voting for Democrat too. No more. I've never voted for a Republican. My father, ever since he moved here, bro, he has voted for every single Republican candidate. I don't think he voted in this election. I'm not 100% sure, but he has voted.
I got an anonymous account. I'm fucking with him. I just can't take it anymore. And they know I'm live streaming the room, so I'm gonna just like disrupt their communications for like the next couple days and record and document this piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean,
supposed blind account and starting a multi-million-dollar nonprofit. It's a fucking piece of shit.
Exactly. You know,
they're not talking about shit as usual.
Most of the stuff, bro, I lean towards Democrat. My only issue is, if I'm being honest with you, it's the whole trans stuff, bro. That's a little bit too crazy.
That's what I'm saying, exactly, and that's why I was telling Amir. He's saying that Gaza is the reason why Kamala lost, and I'm like, no, Kamala lost because of all the woke shit.
Exactly.
That's why.
That's what Point is saying. That's what Point.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm just saying that the woke stuff is what she lost, not because of.
Well, tomorrow is the parade and the birthday of President Trump, and many American Republicans who are in the military, retired military, police, and many construction workers are coming to that parade because they say they're not giving up.
Interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
Finish. What's wrong? Are you hyperactive? Are you ADHD? What's wrong with you? I'm talking.
ADHD, I mean, yes.
I can tell. So mute your mic and shut the fuck up. So many of them are coming out to say, restore order with the Supreme Court. We're not allowing democracy to go down the tubes. Because Trump did another taco thing by saying, oh, we shouldn't deport farm workers and hotel workers, and he's stupid. You shouldn't do the construction workers, etc., etc. Many industries are suffering. That's number one. The second thing I wanted to mention, so you guys can get back to fighting for the mic. Iran has struck Israel. And guess what? Just like Trump knew Israel was going to strike, because remember, he said, yeah, I knew. He did nothing. So Putin knew about Iran, and he did nothing. Now, how does that stack up?
Fuck Iran.
Do you see what's happening here?
Fuck them.
What happened? Are you a little upset?
Oh, guys, tight. Can I finish? There's no food in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, you can finish. There's plenty of food in Tel Aviv. What are you talking about? There's no food in Tel Aviv? What the fuck are you talking about?
They're fucking each other in the butt, in the bunker. In the bunker, in the butt, in the bunker, in the butt.
Nobody's fucking anybody in the butt.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's bunker buddies. Bunker buddies.
When I'm hungry, I don't want to fuck. So how are they fucking when they're?
Well, why don't you go
They're not hungry. They're not hungry. What the fuck are you talking about?
Calm down.
You sound upset, my friend.
We're gonna go back to the topic. Go on.
I'm offended by your stupidity.
Hold on, Zach, calm down. The Point, are you done? Point, are you done? Point, are you finished?
Point, are you dumb? Are you dumb, Point?
I don't know, man. Why are you gay, Zach? Why are you gay?
You can't even do a fucking accent.
Every time somebody talks about, fucking gay, whatever, same gender, you always fucking come with the mic. Anyways, this shows a lot of support is coming from your side.
Anyways, would you say that you're aligned with Iran? Do you think that Israel should take it easy on Iran?
Israel should not have done this, attack in the first place. So, Israel is responsible for this. It's a self-inflicted attack. If,
you wouldn't say that Iran has been attacking Israel for years by their financial support for Hamas and Hezbollah?
No. Hezbollah was,
do you not
Hold on, Zach, one point at a time. You can't fucking go on a long monologue. You said Hezbollah did the attack. I want to clarify this.
I didn't go on a monologue. I'm just asking questions.
Hold on. Hezbollah was created in 1982 to fight the Israelis, by the way. They occupied Lebanon. You should look into it.
I didn't.
Like all these roomsy?
It's recording the room. It's recording us.
Okay, but who's funding Hezbollah?
Some funding they get it from Iran, some funding from their own local government. They have a lot of their own.
So they get their funding from Iran.
Some.
So Iran is basically. So what about Hamas? Where do they get their funding from?
Hamas, they get funding from all over the place. People send money. Netanyahu funded Hamas.
Does Hamas get any funding from?
Do you want it? Do you want the testimony? No, they got funded from Netanyahu.
What about the Houthis? Do you think the Houthis get money from Iran?
Houthis actually build their own hypersonic missiles. They did learn from Iran.
What did they build them out of? What do they build them out of?
They have their own manufacturing facility where they build it.
Do you don't think
even Hamas? Do you
you think that Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon if they've been saying for years that as soon as they have a nuclear weapon, they're going to destroy Israel? Do you think that's appropriate? Are you done, Lemire?
Why are you shouting, man, motherfucker? Shut up. Holy fucking smokes.
So is it Sam? Sam, come on up. Who's
Are you just going to ignore my question?
Hang on a second.
Stop shouting, bro. You're making my ears hurt. Damn.
I'm not shouting.
Yes, you are, bro. You're making my ears hurt.
Hey, what's up, Royal? Looks like that idiot, what's his name, is recording my room. What's his idiot's name?
The comedy guy.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think.
What do you mean? Why don't you just boot him out?
We can't. He's anonymous.
He's anonymous.
Oh, that sucks for you.
Actually, what did you say, Royal?
Why do you have a problem with your room being recorded? Why does that bother you that your room is recorded? Why does that bother you?
Okay, let's see this account. Block that account, all the mods, and then you can start your room over.
He has like 100 of these accounts.
Wait. Who should I block?
That's your buddy, Zach. You know who that guy is, right? What's his name?
Wait, who should I block?
Hold on,
Who should I block?
He's talking about Edmund, Zach.
Oh, who should I? Okay, but how do we block it?
You can.
Oh, you can't. Oh, another win for Edmund.
He's a lowlife.
He's not a fucking, at least he's not a 72-year-old fucking incel who's obsessed with hating the Jews and supporting the bloodthirsty genocide of the Jewish people.
Oh my God.
At least he knows, at least he knows what a vagina looks like.
I know what your mother's vagina looks like.
You know, that's a difference between you and
I
that
love
person.
how every time I start to make some logical points.
This is fucking just too funny.
That was not logical.
You go back to how I can't look at the vagina.
Sex against them.
You're a stupid
You
low-life
started it here.
all of you guys are gonna get hit with a fucking airstrike.
Yeah. I don't think your relatives are gonna be
You got hit with an airstrike when